They don't have. They're not a sponsor. They're not a sponsor. They could be though. I am an. I am a member of the Holiday Inn. I don't know what it's called. It's like the ICG or IHG or something. I am a member there. So if Holiday Inn is watching, you guys should sponsor our show. But I'm not a doctor. But Corona strain 2026 has been going around.
Wait, how is the Holiday Inn connected to that?
What I'm saying is, have you ever seen the Holiday Inn commercials where like I'm not a doctor,
yes,
but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night. I'm not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn this weekend. Anyway, I think you got coronavirus.
Sure, I did.
So get your zinc, get your SART goggles, get your saline sprays, and get ready for the long haul because you got long COVID. And get liquid IVs. Oh, you know what you need? Redmond Relight is what you need. That's better.
That stuff's good.
Redmond Relight. Get your sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium in your body because the first thing that they do, like when you go into the ER, you go to the hospital, you know what the first thing that they do? Hook you up to saline.
Okay.
Why is that? It improves the cardiovascular system. It creates vasodilation, so you can start like getting some good proper blood flow. So the lymphatic system, the cardiovascular, it just operates better when you get a little saline coursing through your veins, a little salt.
I've only been to the hospital once, and I have no recollection of it because it was from a concussion.
Oh, wow.
I was returning a kick, and I forgot that I was white because I was like, you know what? This guy's going low. I'm going high. Went up, dude jumped straight up with me, and it was like a WWE body slam. Just perfect, just whipped me back.
And the back of the helmet went into the turf.
100%. And I got up and I was like, Coach, I'm good to go. He's like, hey, what on the stretch run to the left, you were like 10 seconds before you recognize which side of the ball you're going to. You're done. You're out. So I went to the hospital afterwards. I don't remember going to the hospital, but I've been told that I was in the hospital. So I'm sure it was all connected up, had the CAT scan, but I have no memory of it.
Well, I'm glad there has been absolutely no residual impact, no CTE, despite.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. Imagine how much smarter I could have been had I not played football.
You never know, but you had the memories. You had the memories.
That's true. And that is worth a lot.
It was worth a lot, my friend. Guys, we got a great show for you. Shout out to Vic Cram as well, putting together a newsletter for us, data aggregating for us. And shout out to the guys in the prod room as well. We're going to be streaming the show, guys. So if you don't follow us, make sure you're all following us at Kook Sports Media across all of our social media platforms on YouTube, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook. So we're going to be continually putting out content, obviously curated and produced content, but we're going to be streaming from our Vanderwall studios throughout the entire college football and college basketball seasons. And I do kind of want to start off with a little bit of college basketball as well. So stay tuned as we get into the nitty gritty. But shout out to everybody that's going to be joining us on the stream, and make sure you keep us dialed in when you're driving around around Utah County and around the state on that 103.9 FM dial, 98.3 FM dial. All right, guys. Check out the rest of our ESPN The Fan starting lineup. We got a star-studded cast. Kalani Sitake media availability sound from BYU football training camp. We're going to read between the lines. Actually, yeah, we'll do that. We'll get into Kalani and Jackson Kohler here in the nitty-gritty, so stay tuned. Justin Kirkland, media availability. Thought he had some interesting things to say about the defensive line. Gave a whole lot of love to Bruce Mitchell. We had Bear Bachmeier. He's elaborated on just how good Bruce Mitchell is, how good his derriere is, how explosive he is, how technically sound he is, how intelligent he is, etc. But Justin Kirkland went into detail about why Bruce Mitchell is so dang good at his job, because who's going against him every single day? It's the nose guard, Justin Kirkland, and Keanu Tanavasa. So they know very well. They know Jack Taktai very well. If you know that movie line, hit me up, DM me, and I may send you a Royal Army brand T-shirt. Jack Ty very well. Bruce Mitchell, is a phenomenal football player, and Justin Kirkland knows very well how effective he is. So we're going to get into that at 3:05. Ronald, the three-man Weaver, caught up with cornerbacks coach Lewis Walker. Preview that for me a little bit, Ronnie. What did you learn from Lewis Walker, and what can we anticipate at 3:30?
Yeah, what you can anticipate is he discussed people at the nickel position, right? Obviously, the name Tommy Prats is your nephew. Is one that people will know, but I think a bigger name that people might not know, Ben, who you talked about before, Cannon DeVries. He mentioned that.
Yeah.
The nickel position, I think, is still a question mark. You obviously know who the three are. Evan, Trey, Javen Williams will be in that rotation playing at cornerback. but who's in the nickel spot. He discussed that, and he also discussed the people behind. So tune into what Lewis Walker had to say and how he's gotten connected to these guys since coming in.
Love it. Can't wait to get into it with Lewis Walker. Also, I caught up with Demario Warren. So we're focusing on the back end. If I had to, one of my questions of the day is we're going into the final week of Camp Kalani. What concerns do I have? I don't have many regarding this team, quite honestly. One of my anxieties was who's QB2 and how good is he? And I'm very confident right now that Trayson Bourguet is that guy. And I actually like Enoch Watson as well at QB3. So that was one of my concerns. Special teams still a concern for me. And then I'm like, okay, what's the back end look like with Demario Warren and Lewis Walker and Danny Sorensen coaching up that room? Because the biggest mark of attrition was what? The coaching staff in the secondary. It was Coach G, Coach Jay Hill, and Gavin Fowler. So I got to see tangibly what this back end can do. And I feel more confident than I did when I went into Camp Kalani, but I'm still like, I got to see it to believe it. And because there are some nuances and I think some schemes that are a little bit different from the Jay Hill scheme. So we'll see how it plays out, but I'm still a little bit, okay, how good is the back end? Can it be as good as it was the last couple of years? So still a little bit of a question mark there. But we'll get to know the back end a little bit better with Demario Warren and Lewis Walker. Jonathan Tabanari going to hop on at 4:30 for a little college basketball and Cougar sports, the Brazilian bomber himself, and then a lot of football talk on the back end. Get excited for this. Rise and shout, baby. Brady Papinga joining us, former BYU great NFL Super Bowl champion, and then John Beck, the quarterback scientist of 3D QB. So all that and more here on your Utah ESPN Radio Network. Why don't we get into the nitty-gritty, brought to you by Complete Circuit Electric, CompleteCircuitElectricUtah.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, way up.
I'm ready with sound when you are for Kalani. If you want to go that way first, or Jackson.
Gritty.
Let's do it on the back end of this after we get through Kalani.
That's fine. Okay.
So anyways, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Mike's hot, Ben.
The nitty-gritty, always brought to you by Complete Circuit Electric, CompleteCircuitElectricUtah.com. Why do I choose Complete Circuit Electric for all of my electrical needs? Because, number one, Rustin & Taylor's the best in the business. Over 23 years of experience. It's a family-owned and operated entity, and Rustin does the right work at the right price. He's a master electrician, okay, and he doesn't cut any corners. When you're dealing with electricity, you don't want to cut corners, in my opinion. You're dealing with your most valuable assets, your family, your home, your business, so make sure you do things to code because you don't want a fire started within the walls of your home or in your business. Give him a call, set up an appointment, shoot him a text. VIP products, VIP service, VIP discounts, 801-400-0885. That's 801-400-0885. Complete Circuit Electric, CompleteCircuitElectricUtah.com. All right, let's get into it. Camp Kalani, final week, Kalani Sitake commentary, and can't wait to get into this. Kalani addressed the media, and we're going to delve into all the nicks and crannies regarding this Cougar football team. I think, real quick, Ronnie, you've listened through this. Just real quick, what were your main kind of like takeaways before we get into some of the sound bites?
If you really want to go there, some great host asked about his mustache.
So, yeah. The follicular strength of the upper lip, which we got to give a shout out to Hammer Time because he's got a strong, very luscious, follicularly robust upper lip. And so, hey, you, Kalani, Kenny Cox, the SID for BYU football, Tom Sitake, the patriarch of the Sitake family, he's got a fantastic stash as well. So
don't forget about A-Rod.
A-Rod's got a stash.
He has me beat like not even. I someday hope to have as great.
Justin's got a
nice one too.
Should we, social media guy? Should we put a picture up and do an eval? The best
mustaches.
We got Dr. Skylar Main who may take the cake. He's the essentially your human performance specialist. I can't remember what his new title is, but it's like high performance, director of high performance for BYU athletics. Anyway, yeah, we do talk about Kalani's new mustache. I wonder how long it will last because everybody else has gone long into the offseason and even carrying it over from last year with the stash. So we'll put out a little.
But to give him other takeaways, Ben, secondary talk. Kalani mentioned Kelly Papinga talked about depth at the cornerback position.
Yep.
Kalani commented on that. and the linebacker group. The defense is going to be special this year, Ben, but we find out a little bit more about that when fall camp will end, as well as Ben, is this their last scrimmage and when they start prepping for Utah Tech? So all that's a tease.
Love that. All right, well, let's get into it. His opening statement. This was after last week's Friday practice from Kalani Sitake.
Well, good practice. We've had some good live stuff, this week and get scrimmage tomorrow. So we're 2 weeks out from the game and really excited about where we're at right now. I've had a really good 2-minute situation with the team at the end of practice, and I love the way the guys are working. So it's going to be a lot of fun and playing some real football now and seeing the guys learn and develop in the last couple weeks has been awesome, and really excited where this is headed. And we just got to take advantage of all the time that we have. Yeah, we were down there. We got to see the 2-minute drill. We got to see some of these great plays from the offense, from the defense. I felt like there was some back and forth there. Ronnie, your main takeaways from the offensive side of the ball. What did you like? Because I think that's BYU fans want to get amped. They want to get psyched up, and the best way to do that is to talk about the offense.
Yeah, the best way to do that is that your QB2 is Trayson Bourguet, no doubt. Don't have no fear. Trayson Bourguet is here to be a little bit corny and cheesy. Sorry on a Monday, but Ben, he's dialed. He threw a dart to Terrence Saron in the back. There are a lot of freshmen in this class on this roster, Ben, that can make an impact. Not just Terrence Saron. In the pool of twins, there's a bunch. Devon Eka, and he only threw it where Terrence could get it, and it was a bullet. It was a dart. It was nice, and he was on the money, and the entire offense was celebrating. It was a celebratory moment for them. And then to add it as well, Preston Rex, great block by Joe Brown on the edge. Got out there, blocked it, sealed it. Preston went right through the gap and scored a running touchdown and then converted a very tough third down pass. So, yeah, BYU's offense, they're going to be just fine. I expect BYU's offense, Ben, to put up a lot of points this season. And if they happen to go through a game of attrition, because that happens, I think the people behind in these depth positions really can step up if their name is called. So, yeah, the twos were showing out the last week of fall camp that we saw on a Friday. So appreciate that.
Yeah, one of the things I like to do during fall camp is talk about like the surprises of fall camp. And I think you can label Trayson Bourguet as a surprise, really balling out and on the rise. I think Terrence Saron, like I don't think anyone was expecting Terrence to come in and necessarily break into the depth chart, break into the rotation, but he's knocking on the door right now as a specialist player, and a legend has been the stuff of legends in the offseason. So, but it wasn't ever a surprise because he was balling out in spring. So like fall camp surprises, I think even Preston Rex would be a surprise because he started off last year in the kind of that 2 deep in fall camp, but he got injured almost immediately and then kind of found his way back into the lineup. And he had like 1 or 2 plays that we saw off the edge, a swing route, running up the sideline. And then he was never seen from or heard from again. And we're like, wait, what happened? Do you remember that? I can't remember. Was it the Texas Tech game that he had like a good run, or maybe it was Iowa State? Maybe it was Iowa State. So pull up his stat line for him. But then we didn't hear from him anymore. We didn't hear about him. Anyway, G-Man's coming into the show. Brandon C. Gurney, welcome to Vanderwell Studios. Come on in, G-Man. You're running a little bit running a little bit late here, G-Man. So anyway, real quick, G-Man, who are they and why?
Oh man, you're hitting me with this.
Okay, well, you want to
right off the bat.
Here, search, ponder, and pray for a minute. Let's listen back to Kalani Sitake. One of the questions that was posed: what were the deals? What's the deal right now? One of the things that stood out were the Royal. So the Royal helmets. This is what he had to say about the Royal helmets that were being donned at the Provo practice.
Yeah, I think that because we've been wearing the white helmets most camp, and so we got to break in the helmets, and I think it's just so they didn't want to have it the first time that they're wearing the helmet is be in the game. So I don't know. These guys are all spoiled. They have so many different helmets and shoes and all that stuff. So when I played, it was one helmet. That was it. So so I think they have to just break them in a little bit and go with it. But it looks nice. I like the way the look of them, and I'm not sure what the uniform, what that is yet. Brett, you know what it is? Okay. Royal top and white pants. So I'm good with it. I like those colors.
Royal top. There you go. Look, I'm not a man of swagger. I don't like.
Yes, you do.
I do not like
Stop it.
No, I do not like them. They are a distraction to me. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Get rid of the cursed black uniforms. Get rid of like all of the specialty helmets. You can tell Kalani's a little bit done with it too. He's like, oh yeah, these kids are so spoiled. That's a Darnell Dixon Daily Herald Get Off My Lawn segment with Kalani Sitake.
Yes, it
brought
is.
to you by, let's say, OrthoPros of Utah, orthoprosofutah.com.
I thought of two names.
The MVP or the standouts, the surprises.
Yes.
The surprises, yeah.
And the funny thing is these shouldn't be surprises, but they've kind of resurfaced.
Yeah.
And on offense, I'm going Reggie Frischneck.
Yeah, Reggie's was a surprise.
He's a guy that had a lot of pup prior to last fall camp. Got that soft tissue injury. Didn't hear about him again.
Reggie and Preston both with soft tissue injuries to start off fall camp last year, and then they kind of were sort of reintegrated, but then never really
and he wasn't able to
elevated to prominence.
Well, if you miss fall camp as a first-year player,
it's really hard.
I mean, we saw with Reiner Swanson a few years back, guy that was completely poised to do big things. This is fall camp done. Defense, Tausili Akana is starting to show.
I like that.
He got a lot of reps, and we talked about how.
But is he a surprise?
See, that's exactly my point.
Yeah,
a 4-star former recruit from a Texas transfer can't really be a surprise.
Yeah.
But he kind of is, because I think a lot of people forgot about him. I mean, Nusi Tamoipe was kind of taking the limelight and all that, and Tausili's like, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm a 4-star guy. And we talked about how the defense resurfaced in a big way last practice. Who was getting in there over and over and over again? Tausili Akana. Still very talented, still there. And I hope he has a chip on his shoulder. I hope he's like, noticed, how come no one wants to interview me anymore? Well, why is everyone going? I haven't done one interview this entire fall camp. I'll show these
Any
guys.
other year, I mean, the 4-star Tausili
we'd be talking about them every single day.
Yeah.
Hey, Gurney, how's the 4-star transfer from Texas going?
Yeah.
Every day I would be peppered. People, oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's good. And he's still really good. I kind of forgot about him too, I'll be honest with you. But he resurfaces like, yeah, he's got a lot of talent, a lot of skill level. I hope he has a massive chip on his shoulder.
Yes, indeed. Real quick, going back to, I don't know, Hammer Time, do you have any surprises of fall camp? I named a few. I think those are all prominent names that we need to highlight. Who would you put out there?
I'm sorry.
Legend's not a surprise anymore, though. I felt like
exactly
he's been one of the most hyped players of the offseason. Like everybody comes out of every practice like
he's a surprise coming out of fall camp, because like going into fall camp, I was not expecting where we are now.
Yeah.
So to me, that is a surprise.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Because, however, the argument, because this is my question, my big question, which I know is not what you asked, but it's coming full circle. My big question is like, who's wide receiver 1? And not just who's going to be at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the season, but like in the huddle, who's wide receiver 1? Because for the last 4 years, it's like, okay, Chase Roberts is your wide receiver 1 in the huddle and on the leaderboard. Now your question is, who's wide receiver 1? I don't know that we're going to have a definitive answer. And so because of that, I think you could argue that Legend's not a surprise, because we didn't really definitively know who all of the guys were. The only person we were really sure was JoJo, and that's just because he's been the incumbent. He has been at BYU. He's been in the system. But even with JoJo, we've seen flashes. We have not seen full, consistent success. So from that standpoint, I think Legend is a good argument. One that you brought up, Gurney, that I really liked is Reggie Frischneck.
Yeah.
Like, they've shown us a lot of tape of Reggie Frischneck.
Are we going Connect or is it Frischneck?
I don't know.
Okay.
Is the K silent?
It's neck. Frischneck.
Okay, so no K.
Okay.
Frischneck.
Okay, I'm glad that I got educated.
Vic interviewed him, had a nice little one-on-one with him.
Oh, he's got the inside track on the pronunciation.
I'm glad. Yeah, I think Reggie is a great option. We heard A-Rod, I think it was last week, talk about how there's not gonna be a receiver group that's bigger than what we're running out there.
Oh, not even close.
Which makes me think that Reggie is going to be somewhere in that final group of guys running out there. But I liked Reggie. I think that was a good pickup by G-Man.
How about Terrence Sarion?
Yeah, no, he was one of the other ones that we mentioned just a little bit ago. Ronald, the three-man Weaver, in fact, was talking about him. Ronnie, who do you got and why?
Yeah, first of all, to Gurney's point about Cecilia Kana, Coach K said he needs to step up. The interview that I had with him, if you haven't heard that, check it out on all of our platforms.
He needs to step up.
Step up. He called him out. Right now, I like when coaches say that to certain players. Here's a guy that has been playing, and he transferred in, right? And sometimes when you see a player come from an SEC school, you have to go look at the stats. You have to go look and see the impact that they really made. What did they have? But Javen Williams is the guy for me, Ben. I think that's the guy that surprised me a little bit. Because, look, last year he played in 13 games. He only had 18 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 interceptions, 2 pass breakups. I mean, not bad, right? But when you think of the impact that you can make on that team and coming over, he's showcased very well. He's been in a lot of the B-roll, a lot of the pictures. He's going to play in it. At one point, Ben, even on Friday, when we went, it was Friday and Tuesday, he was in over Trey Alexander at times. And that kind of caught me off guard. That's a guy I think that's going to push Trevin. That's going to push Trey. That's also going to push Evan Johnson a little bit too. So Javen Williams is my guy, Ben, that has stood out to people and that shocked people.
Yeah. I wouldn't say like it's a surprise, but I was TBD with him. For me, like Trayson Bourget playing as well as he's played, like I thought he'd be moderately good. Like I thought he'd be good enough. Does that make sense? Like when I went into fall camp, I was like, I am not convinced that he can win you football games. Does that make sense? I'm now convinced that he can win you football games. And that to me is a surprise because I really didn't expect that from him. I'll be honest. Like he's a good quarterback. He's been a good quarterback. I mean, obviously he had offers, but he's developed in the system that A-Rod employs, the architecture that he has built here, and he's really now thriving under it. And it helps to have a great supporting cast. We do have a very good supporting cast right now, but he's making great decisions, and he's really in command of that offense when he's running that second team. Victor,
how about Braxton Lindsey?
Yeah, Braxton's been a surprise.
Running with the ones for now 2 weeks.
Yeah,
since I've been,
and
watching.
Some of that may have to do with like we've seen the kind of Nick Stings bruises. I don't know with Nusi Tamalipeo, right? Nusi hasn't been employed as much. We haven't seen him as much in the week or so, and that allows a guy like Braxton to step in immediately. Remember, he's a high-level 3-star, 4-star kid. You look at it. I mean, he chose BYU.
SEC.
No, he chose BYU over Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, and Missouri.
So BYU lost, yes, some in-state guys, but you gained Braxton from that state essentially. So from that area, from that region, he chose BYU over the Boomer Sooner. You know what I mean? So anyway, I like that take a lot. Guys, we do any other names that we want to add to the mix as far as surprises of fall camp before we got to take a break? We'll come back with more Kalani Sitake commentary and sound from fall camp.
Well, I think the story of this year's team is we're stretched to think of surprises, which kind of tells you just the returning talent, what this team is, because usually I'm just boom, boom, you can name off some guys, but it's largely what you've expected.
Yeah, some people would say Jake Clifton, but like every time I talk to Kelly Paping, he's like, watch out for Jake Clifton. I'm like, okay. Well, so I'm like desensitized because, he was just, your defensive coordinator was going out of his way to say, a name that no one's talking about is Jake Clifton. And then I caught up with Falatau this last week at the Cougar kickoff, and I just asked Fale, I was like, who stood out to you? And one of the names he brought up was like, Jake Clifton's been balling. He also mentioned Kenan Pula and Tommy Parasus that have stepped up in his own absence. So they've done really well in the absence of Fale on the football field. But he's actually in pads now. He is cleared. He is practicing full go. So that's a little insider report brought to you by Big O Tires in American Fork. If you're looking for an honest, hard-working, cost-transparent mechanic, head on over to Big O Tires in American Fork today. Let them know I sent you. Hammer time.
One other name that I'd just like to throw out while we're naming the whole roster is I would like to throw in Devon Eka. Just because one of my biggest questions was, is the running back room going to be something that depth-wise we're excited about, or just like, hey, default, these are the bodies who happen to be in the room.
Sure.
And it sounds like Devon Eka is not just a guy who is like, hey, he's a body. Like, it sounds like someone he's excited about, which makes me excited because I do think running back is one of those positions where no matter what you do, no matter what you feed those boys, they're the most hit position in football. You need depth at that position, and it sounds like between Devon, between Preston, between Journey Tonga maybe, sounds like there's some nice depth there, and I'm excited about Devon.
To me, the only true, verifiable home run threat that can pull away from third-level defenders, talking safeties and cornerbacks, is Devon Eka. LJ is explosive and fast, and he can run with the best of them. But his acceleration is more impressive. His physicality is more impressive than his top-end speed. Same thing with Shone Moa. They're similar backs. They're pretty akin. But Devon's a kind of a different element to the run game, and I love that about his skill set, and that allows him to integrate into this offense. And you got something different that you can throw at a defense. You know what I mean? Like, as a defender, it is very difficult, like, to have a multiplicity of talents at the running back room. It just is. Like, I like to know what I'm getting, right? What I can expect on any given down. You get a change of pace back, like even Journey Tonga, who you mentioned, or a Devon Eka. Logan Payne's a little bit unique as well. Preston Rex is unique. He's different than all those guys. That mixes up some things and puts you on your heels as a defender. So I like that. Any other answers before we go to break, guys? Any other surprises of fall camp?
There are 0 other surprises.
We
named them all.
0 other surprises. Kenan DeVries has stepped up and played well, I think. I don't know if that's been a surprise, but he's starting to integrate a little bit and get some PT, get some run. So some good football players, no doubt. And as Ronald texted me, he's like, Carl Suferchoke has really stepped up as a leader. And look, he was good last year, and now he's been highlighted as a leader of the offense alongside Bruce Mitchell. So those combos, those duos between those two, I pity the fool that is a 0 tech or a 1 tech that has to go up against those two guys. They are mean, they are nasty, and they finish the play. Is that what FTP means? Finish.
Oh my
God!
Oh, what?
Oh,
you just broke the code.
I think that's it.
Is it really that easy?
I'm doing the Matrix, man. Is it FTP? Finish the play?
But why would that be a secret? Why wouldn't they reveal that?
Just a reminder.
No, it's got to be profane. It has to.
I did wonder, but also I think if it was
week,
profane, there's no way that I think they would be putting up.
Guys,
I'll be so disappointed if it's just finished the play.
I bet it's finished the play.
Oh, I hope it's not. That'll be really disappointing to me.
You want it to be profane.
I do.
You don't want it to be honor code approved.
Well, they're not even revealing it.
Well, yeah, because it's
would you reveal the creed to someone if they ask you, Gurney, internally?
No.
If it's finished the play, yeah.
You want it to be provocative.
No,
yeah, I
Gurney,
want it to be provocative.
You want it to get the people going.
Yeah. You want the juices flowing.
I like that pull, bro.
All right, I'm glad somebody got the.
I'm sorry, but that's such a buzzkill to me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Just is.
I'm not saying it is.
It probably is.
You think so?
There's no way if it was profane, there's 0 chance they put it on a shirt. 0.
Look,
that's a
I
good
agree,
point.
That's
0.
That is
Because if it got out, Gurney, that it was profane, it would be a PR madness.
I will tell you
point.
this much because of the social media and because of the video work that BYU does internally, there's no way that it would be profane.
Bingo.
And furthermore, this could have happened in the Roger French era. Trust me, some of the offensive lines that man coached, they had some nasty dudes. And I've had them on the show before. And maybe that day and age, because there wasn't much film coming out of practice. This day and age, no, not going to happen. The P word could be pancake, but I said, finish the play. There could be a pancake. You know,
find the pancake. Find the pancake. Like you're going out, you're looking for the guy to toss.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is,
I don't know.
Whatever inspires you to put forth your best effort as an offensive lineman. Let's take a timeout. We're live from our Vanderwelt studios, vanderwelt.com. Get on that free Q&A today. That was our nitty-gritty segment. Brought to you by Complete Circuit Electric, CompleteCircuitElectricUtah.com. I got G-Man by my side. Brett Always Bring the Hammer, Vic Graham, and Ronald the Three-Man Weaver up in Salt Lake. We'll go to break. We'll get back to Kalani Shaw, a couple of the questions that he delved into. When you originally brought in Demario Warren to be cornerback coach, did you foresee him possibly moving to the safeties coach? What thinking went behind that? We caught up with Lewis Walker and Demario Warren. We'll play that soundbite or those interviews on the back end of the show. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, Cougar Nation. This is Cougar Sports, 103.9, 98.3, ESPN The Fan. Welcome back, Cougar Sports, 103.9, 98.3, ESPN The Fan. I'm Ben Criddle, broadcasting from our Vanderwell studios, vanderwell.com. Get on a free Q&A, no obligation to invest. Q&A with our tax smart wealth advisors, certified financial planners. Nobody does it better than Blaine Anderson and his crew. I got the G-Man by my side, Brandon C. Gurney. Brett always bringing the hammer in the house, as well as Vic Cram. We're on the three-man weaver behind the glass. Jay-Z, band of the day, artist of the day, brought to you by RoyalArmy.com. BYU swag, created by fans, for fans. Stay loyal to the Royal. Rep the white the right way. Purchase your BYU licensed apparel at RoyalArmy.com. Delving into the sound from Kalani Sitake, reading between the lines here on your Utah ESPN radio network from Camp Kalani. This was this past Friday, and giving us some nuggets to evaluate some gems coming out of Camp Kalani. I asked the question of the day. Chime in on it. What are you concerned about right now? We're heading into the last week of fall camp. I want to hear from you, Cougar fans. Are there any concerns still that we have not addressed through fall camp reports, the highlights, etc.? So, Hon, think. I'm just getting Cougar Nation involved here for a second, G-Man. I know you want to delve right into it, and we will. Just hold your horses here for a moment. Guys, I want to get into some more Kalani sound real quick. I think one of my concerns that still remains, G-Man, is the back end of the secondary. We actually caught up with DeMario Warren and Lewis Walker. And we haven't interviewed Danny Sorensen yet, but you have three coaches that had to be replaced. One of our anxieties heading into Camp Kalani was how the back end would react to that. We had a lot of talent there. Raider, Fale, Tommy coming back, Evan Johnson, Trey Alexander. You bring in Javen Williams out of Mississippi State, and you had some nice project players, as I would describe them. Kevin Doe and a young buck in Jordan Chris at cornerback. But still, how do the coaches and the players synergize? Do they align, et cetera, with the newness of it all? So when you originally brought in DeMario, Kalani, he was going to be corners coach. Then you moved him over to safeties. What was the thinking behind that? This was his response.
Well, I think just looking at the candidates that we had for safeties and corners, we knew that DeMario could coach either one. And so, and he has had head coaching experience with his time in Southern Utah. He has coordinator experience. And so, really like the way that he works. And he's also best friends with General Guilford. So they're very similar in their teaching style. And we just knew that there could be some flexibility with him there. And the opportunity to get Lewis Walker and Demo was really important. And I think they're going to be really good for us this year.
Yeah, remember when Ed Lamb was down at SUU, Ed Lamb brought in DeMario Warren, and he eventually became the defensive coordinator and the eventual head coach once Ed Lamb took the assistant head coaching job at BYU in 2016 under Kalani Sitake. Well, guess who else was on that staff at SUU? Coach Gennaro Guilford. Now, Gennaro was brought in to coach corners at BYU at the same time, and DeMario was then elevated to head coach at SUU, and he had some good seasons. He had some bad seasons. But he's an intelligent, talented coach that ended up at Boise State after that, and now he's at BYU. Why was he initially hired as cornerbacks coach is the question, and then why was he moved to safeties coach? What do you think, G-Man?
Just for the fit, I think Lewis Walker kind of sold himself in such a way. It's like, no, we got to get this guy.
Yeah.
Right. And let's be honest, the pool of quarterback coaches that BYU can bring in is kind of limited.
Sure.
I mean, for reasons that I don't think we need to state, right?
Sure.
But I think it's imperative that you get a double minority coaching that position. And getting that quality guy that wants to come to BYU, I think that kind of condenses the recruiting pool of available cornerback coaches. So a guy like Lewis Walker becomes available. Yeah, let's go get him, and Demo can get swished. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. And I think they validated themselves through the recruiting process.
They've done really well. I mean, look at their commitment list for 2027.
Yeah. They've already got some guys. It's
this would
impressive.
be the best recruiting class from like a secondary standpoint, a cornerbacks standpoint specifically, in BYU football history, top to bottom.
I mean, you look at a guy like Evan Johnson; he wasn't recruited at all.
No offers.
And I
BYU.
I want to state this as a concern: is we like Shmev. I mean, the guy could be the best cornerback to ever play for BYU. I think he is. Tyrion Alexander, very good.
Yeah.
I think there's a pretty big drop off after those two. And if one of those guys were to go down, I think that could impact the entire defensive alignment, how they do things substantially.
Okay.
And I think that's a big concern for this defense because the depth at cornerback, you have some talented guys. Williams would be the next guy you put out there, and I think he could get it done, but I'm not convinced that he's in the same realm as Tyrion Alexander yet. Maybe he is. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him. But the other guys, Jordan Chris, I think Kevin Doe's still developing.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's really exciting, an exciting guy. But I just think the drop-off is pretty tremendous between Evan Johnson and Tyrion Alexander. And a lot of that is just because those guys are just that good. But still, I think one of those guys goes down. You're going to have to allocate some over to the top coverage and some safety coverages that you didn't have to line prior.
Yeah.
Right? It maybe can't be as aggressive. So
yeah,
those guys can't get hurt.
Well, this is what I'll say about the question. I think it's a valid question. I think it's a good question. And Hammer Time, I'm going to let you chime in on this as well, give your commentary. So shout out to Kevin Mitchell as well, showing out to the Vanderwell Studios. Appreciate him. And so I think initially when K-Pop got hired, what was happening at that time? Well, Gennaro was still on the roster for coaches, right? Like it was like in this transition, remember, because Jay left first. Gennaro and K-Pop could have been, I think there was talks about co-DC. And then, whatever happened. G decided to head out to Michigan with Jay. I'm sure there was a nice price to that. And it is what it is. And then DeMario's essentially like right in. I can't remember the exact timeline, but it was very, I think DeMario was eventually going to move to safeties anyway, either way, if they had the right candidate. But that it was kind of this gray area where it's like, okay, is G leaving? Is he not leaving? And even DeMario, in my interview with him, he expresses that. I asked him, what were you thinking when you were hired? What was the process like? He's like, it was really weird because G really hadn't left yet, and we were going through the interview process, and they were trying to figure out the fit. He was initially announced as cornerbacks coach, but then you have other candidates that you had the job opening and you started interviewing candidates, and that's where Lewis came in. I also think from a personality standpoint, I think DeMario aligns better with the safeties room. He's extremely intelligent, really high football IQ. Everyone that I've chatted with about DeMario will speak to that. He's extremely articulate, high football IQ, and I think you want that type of player or that type of coach with those type of players on the would you agree the safeties are typically a little bit smarter than the cornerbacks?
Oh, for sure.
No offense to any of the cornerbacks out there.
Well, just look at Tanner Wall.
Yeah. You want extremely intelligent back end
players.
Way too
smart to play cornerback.
And you also want the extremely intelligent coach there. And I'm not saying that Lewis is an extremely intelligent coach, but more often than not, cornerbacks coaches need to be technicians. Like the nuances, the subtleties, the attention to detail with like the neuromuscular movements and fluidity of your hip. Like you need a technician to really dial it in. And Lewis has played the position and has done it at a high level and could speak to that. DeMario didn't play cornerback. Does that make sense? So I think it was a natural move. Anyway, Hammer Time, chime in. Anything else you want to add to it?
No, I think you're 100% right. I think that had a big part to do with it where one guy has a lot more experience in that position. One of them is more of just a general secondary specialist, which is a big deal. But it's like, if I can have the guy, to me, it's the difference between a professor who studied in school and a professor who studied in school and also worked in the profession. If I can have the guy who worked in it and learned how to teach it, I'm going to take that guy, even if the other guy is really great.
You want the adjunct professor.
And that's a splitting hairs thing, right?
100%.
Like, they're both incredible coaches, but if we're splitting hairs here, we're going to give the former corner as the corner's coach. The other point I thought you make, which was really good, is like it is so different in terms of just like the technical standpoint, because I believe Kedu Olave said the green dot is with the safeties.
Yeah.
So that just requires a different attention to different details than it does with the cornerback position.
Look, at the P4 level, I will say, like, more often than not, and look, you want to have like credibility with your coach immediately, and if they've played your position, there is almost an immediate credibility. Does that make sense? And I think that's where there would be a gap. Not to say that DeMario couldn't coach the corners. I just think at the cornerback position, I think it's an imperative to have a cornerbacks coach that has played the position. At any rate, even Nick Saban, Nick Saban played defensive back, and what did he coach at Alabama? He was always coaching the corners and the safeties, always involved with the corners and the safeties, very heavily involved in that room. He wanted a specific way. He wanted specific techniques employed within his scheme. All right, let's get back to it. Kalani Sitake Sound, head coach, BYU Cougar football. This was from last Friday. Was last Saturday your final look live at how things will be before Utah Tech?
Yeah, with a lot of the guys, we've probably already passed that. We did some live stuff this week, and I don't know if we need some of the guys to be live, but there's others that need to feel like what it's like to be tackled and break tackles. So we'll get a look at all those guys, and then there's certain things that we need to do, as a team to get these guys to be a little bit more physical. But the majority of the guys are all ready to go. We just got to keep them. I mean, it's you develop these calluses and you get your body ready with the sparring that we do. So we I think most of the guys are ready, but there's some others that a little bit soft skin, need a little beaten up. So we'll get that done tomorrow, and then we'll be ready for the season when we get to 2 weeks away.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed. Get calloused up. Trayson Bourget, by the way, the Daily Bourget put out his MVPs from the scrimmage at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. The Daily Bourget, brought to you by our good friends over here at RoyalArmy.com. BYU swag, created by fans, for fans. Stay loyal to the Royal. Rep the Y the right way. Purchase your BYU licensed apparel at RoyalArmy.com. Utilize the ESPN coupon code. Get 10% off your order. He gives his offensive MVP to Tate Nakua, says, just kept finding ways to get open and make plays. Big scrimmage from him. Year 3 will be a fun year for him. Defense, how about this one? I know you're going to get geek out about this one. Kendall Wall has impressed all camp. DN making plays and coverage like a DB. Big-time interception today. I do like Kendall Wall. Looks the part and feels the part. He is a big-bodied player. I think he's all of 6'6", if I'm not mistaken. He's a big dude. No, 6'5", 240.
Yeah, you know what that tweet tells me? A lot of starters were held out. With all due respect to Tay,
no doubt.
I'm sure he had a tremendous day.
No
Kendall
doubt.
Wall as well.
No doubt.
But a lot of ones weren't playing out there, and that's usually how it goes. Usually the second scrimmage is just, okay, we're going to iron out our travel squad, the two deep and all that. Our guys are our guys. We know they are. No injuries. So, yeah. And it allows guys like Tate Nakua and Kendall Wall to shine. So,
yeah.
So good stuff. I like the guys that you don't bring up that coaches mentioned, and Kendall Wall was that guy.
Yeah.
When I interviewed Chad K. He said, yeah.
Well, we have our local resident expert of pronunciation guide, Ronald the Three-Man Weaver, who got the pronunciation from him. Ronald, how do you pronounce Coach Chad K's last name?
Nope, not doing it.
Plead the fifth.
Kaha
No.
That ain't it.
No.
I don't know how to do it, but that ain't
No.
it.
Now, kaha, ah.
Oh, I
think that's how you actually say it, right?
My former colleague, the White Lion of Zion, would be all over this. And he would say it over and over again because he'd be so happy that no one could pronounce it but him. Anyway, Tala, where are you, man?
We all get names wrong. I get Coach K's wrong. Ben says Sufarchuk. It's Safarchuk. Like we all get it wrong.
Is it Safar? It's Safarchuk.
Jake Hatch asked him last year how do you pronounce it. So we all get the names wrong. But look, working on the Polynesian names. But Retzlaff. I will say this. I guess I have to post this now. There is a funny video of Kevin Mitchell recording me trying to say the name, thinking I have it, and it's completely butchered. So if you want to laugh at me, Cougar Nation, I guess I'll post that, Ben. And it's all bad. It's down bad, Ben.
Down bad, he says. Anything else to say before we go to the next soundbite? We got it. All right. Once you get to this Saturday scrimmage, your ramp up mode for week 1, we're going to get prep for Utah Tech. Is that the case?
Then we focus more on our opponents too. Midway, so a week and a half out, we're going to be focusing on Utah Tech. And right now, we're trying to get all our stuff in and figure out what's the best game plan, the strategy for week 1. And so we'll just. It was a lot of work. The coaches did a great job, and we're almost there. But we'll need tomorrow, and we'll need the first 2 days next week to get ready.
So look. Utah Tech, I think we just start preparing for U of A, let's be honest, right? Are you looking past Utah Tech, the Trailblazers?
I am.
Yeah, I am too.
Right.
I'm looking past them. It's not. I can do that now because I'm not a football player. But
Yeah,
we look
can
past.
do that.
We look past them. We got to start. I want to see Kendall Wall and Tay Nakua getting a lot of reps versus Utah Tech, baby. That's what I need. I want to see.
Trace and Bourget.
I want to see Trace and Bourget by second quarter. That's what I want to see. I want Trace and Bourget in the lineup second quarter. At worst, third quarter to start the second half.
At worst. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, at worst.
I'm sure you'll get that.
I will. Okay, thanks.
I really hate that we have to play Arizona week 2.
Because,
look, there's some Big 12 teams I don't want to see. Arizona, outside of Utah on this Big 12 schedule, Arizona might be the number 1 team I don't want to see, and it sucks that you got to see them week 2.
I hate that it's at 1:30. Like, if there's any game that screams Vampire Coug game, it's that game.
Could be a hot one, too.
I don't like it at 1:30.
And you know who's been playing in the heat?
Yep.
U of A. In the Tucson heat. You know what I mean? Now, they do have to come to Elevation, and they struggled last time at Elevation. They did a whole lot better in Tucson when there was a freaking, a hurricane monsoon that came through. It was insane. So that because
I'm hopping in here. Me and Gurney were there. Let's keep it a buck. They was getting run out the gym on that drive until the rain happened.
Changed the entire game.
BYU was going to go up 21-3.
I agree. But U of A, Brent Brennan, Noah Fafita, that entire roster believes that they should have won that game and they were better than BYU, and they're going to get them in Provo this year. They have that game circled.
Oh, they want it.
They want it. They want it. They want it all.
Well, because they're also probably
Big 12 media days with us was that game. That's all they said.
But if you
I feel like, do you remember when BYU went out to Liberty?
Yep.
Do you remember that?
I don't think about that ever again.
No, do you remember how that entire athletic department, they had this history of their it was Jerry Falwell.
Yeah, you had the AD
senior
on the radio show.
the OG of the university was like, I have a dream that one day Liberty will be just as good as Notre Dame and BYU and in the collegiate football landscape, and we will take all of our Southern Baptist money and we will buoy up this athletic. That's not the exact quote, but that's what his dream was. I'm telling you, just look it up. They had a dream, they were going to mimic, they were going to replicate it's a religious institution, right?
Yep.
And
let's go to break, Ben.
And they were going to become the Southern Baptist version of Notre Dame and BYU, Mormons and Catholics, Latter-day Saints and Catholics.
Did Liberty offer you a scholarship out of?
They may have. It was one of my best offers coming out of.
He loves Liberty more than anybody.
You know what?
I'll
be honest.
You love your
I'll be honest. After what they did to my alma mater, I've lost some love. But I am also a fan because they did take in Bentley Hanshaw, former BYU tight end, and he played well there. So once a Cougar, always a Cougar, Bentley Hanshaw. Anyways, I want to close out the sound. So I apologize. Let's get into it. When does fall camp officially close?
I think officially maybe middle of next week. And so, I thought the camp, the guys were way more ready than ever before. And so things were a lot easier. You could tell these guys spent a lot of time being football junkies and studying the game and studying. They did a lot of player-run meetings and player-run practices where they actually got together and took the initiative themselves to get their team ready. So a lot of the teaching, it was already done before we even got to camp, and I'm really pleased with the way they responded to it. And now we're just focusing on the technique and all the little details that can get us there.
All right, let's get to the next one. Kelly Papinga noted in spring an area of focus was depth at corner. How do you feel about that depth at corner? Who stands out?
Yeah, and that's why we brought Jay Will here, so having him and seeing the development of Cato and seeing the development of Jordan Chris and Matthias Leach, those guys are coming along really nicely. And so we feel good about the depth there. Had Cannon DeVries playing some nickel for us too and used Tommy there. So we've had a bunch of different versatile looks with the defense. And so I feel like we're in a really good spot. And there's a lot of corners that can play and a lot of DBs that can play. We have safeties that can play corner. So there's a lot of cross-training between the two positions. That's why it's important to have a lot of great communication between Demo and Coach Walker.
Are you convinced?
Yeah, I already commented on this.
Are you convinced?
I jumped the gun.
Are you convinced?
I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It felt a little like
he's trying.
Yeah. Like there's some question
marks. The thing is, all those names he put out there, I've never seen him play. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but he said Jay Will, which is David Williams. Like he was right off the bat, Javen Williams. So you have, to me, it's obvious that there's 3 corners that they do like.
Yeah.
And then you're like, Kevin Doe's coming along. Jordan Chris is coming along. Matthias Leach is coming along. But there's no trust there yet. And I would say that that's an accurate depiction. Then you have Cannon and Tommy and Cannon at nickel. And they may rotate some other. We're not as deep at corner and safety as we would like to be, but this is who BYU's been since I was at BYU. We literally had 3 corners.
But you don't want to go back to those days.
That's what it was.
But your top end is really good. Like I agree you're not super deep, but like your top end is really
Evan and Trey
good.
and Javen are good.
Raider and Fale, like
Raider, Fale, Tommy are all good.
The secondary top end is really good.
It's as strong as I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The depth is fair,
even better than 96.
Yeah.
Even better than 2012.
Potentially.
Even better than 2012 top end.
Cornerback, yeah.
Do you know who the cornerbacks were in 2012?
I knew you were going to ask.
Do you know who they were?
Oh, remind me.
I don't know. You got to do some due diligence. G-Man putting the heat on G-Man.
I remember,
who was it?
I remember the guys in 96.
Okay, who are they? Who are the safeties in 96?
Oh,
yeah, exactly. See, Omar Morgan and Tim McTire. Yeah, you're going to go. That's easy. It's easy to name the corners. Yeah, exactly. You don't even know.
Safeties in 2010 or the like?
No, 2012.
I got one.
The cornerbacks in 2012 and the safeties in 2012. Danny Sorensen may have been on that.
Yeah.
You know, how about Craig Bills? You can't even name it. Who are you, G-Man? I thought you were a deep cut. I thought you were a man of the minutia. I thought you were the man of granularity. Anyway,
sorry, Craig Bills and Danny Sorensen.
Yeah, 2 of the greats.
Wow, those are
really good safeties. And who are my corners? So look it up real quick. Don't say it yet. Development of the mustache. Let's get into that real quick. Can we do the mustache?
Yeah, then we got to go.
All right. Development of the mustache, Kalani. Tell us about this new mustache, the follicular strength of the upper lip. The development of the mustache. Could you elaborate on?
Oh, the mustache. Yeah. Honestly, I have a hurting. It's like an annoying pimple on my upper lip, and so I don't have skills to maneuver around that with my razor.
Sounds like a World War II tank in the background.
And as soon as the
you hear the World War II tank?
Off comes the stash. So I don't look as good as my dad and others with it. You know, like look at Pops.
G-Man, do you hear the World War II tank in the background?
I mean, I would just be trying to imitate my father. I try to imitate him in a lot of different ways. The mustache, I don't know if I can pull it off. My 4-year-old daughter's already doesn't know how she feels about it. So, this is just for comfort. You guys, this is allowed on the honor code and dress and grooming, and so. But as soon as this thing heals, it's off. Thanks for noticing like the little things that nobody cares about.
That's a flashback when you were a player.
Yeah,
I was going to say, was that 99?
I didn't look. It didn't look good back then, and I don't know if it's going to look good now. But like, I mean.
You have a little bit more salt than you had.
I know. Thanks a lot, Criddle. Yeah, that's and don't look at my hair too. It's wisdom. Even in the upper lip, I got it. So yeah, I have wonderful people like you to remind me about my looks. So thank you guys.
Love me some
Jordan Johnson and Preston Hadley.
Yeah, I can't believe you freaking forgot that, dude.
And Chris Ellison, who was really good. Safety.
You're talking about 96.
Yeah, 96.
Chris Ellison. Who was the other safety alongside him?
Jason Walker.
Yeah. There you go. Finally was able to pull it out of the hat.
Jordan Johnson, man. I thought
Jordan was going to be fantastic. He had a couple ACL injuries. It broke his arm. Shout out to Jordan Johnson. Love you, buddy. For a time, actually, Jordan worked here at OrthoPros, actually.
Really?
Yeah, like he was trying to figure out what he was going to do, if he's going to play again. Anyway, like just to, give him some money. He worked for us here at OrthoPros of Utah, taught him a few things. Loved Jordan Johnson. Love that man. And he was a great football player. And so was Preston. Preston was a great corner, great boundary corner. Loved watching Preston play as well. So last thing, linebacker group is so talented. There's a lot of talk about the group. what they can accomplish? How deep does that group go?
Yeah, we have
really got to get the break so I get this legal ID.
Okay.
We're going to be able to use as many of those guys as we can, and looking at different packages to help get them all on the field at the same time. But it's one of the deepest linebacking crews I've ever been around, and a lot of talent there too. So, and that's with Glasgow and Cade leading the way, but the rest of the guys are right there. They can play. I like that group, and so. And, K-Pop was wise to take the inside linebacking group and the outside linebackers to coach. So,
yeah, there you go. That's the segment, guys. We're sticking to it. Brought to you by RoyalArmy.com. BYU swag created by fans for fans. Stay loyal to the Royal. Rep the white the right way. Purchase your BYU licensed apparel at RoyalArmy.com. Utilize the ESPN coupon code. You get 10% off your order. That's 10% off your order at RoyalArmy.com. We'll go to break. Don't go anywhere. A little player profile on the back end. We'll talk some stats as well. I believe, do we have a reverse remote, I think, coming up. Michael Peterson, True Blue Cougar. That's right, TrueBlueCougar.com. The latest and greatest in Cougar Nation coming out of True Blue Cougar. Stay loyal, strong, and true at TrueBlueCougar.com. We'll go to break. Don't go anywhere. More to get to. This is Cougar Sports 103.9, 98.3, ESPN The Fan. A free Q&A, no obligation to invest Q&A with our Tax Smart Wealth Advisors. Going to get into a player profile with Justin Kirkland here momentarily. He was the transfer from Oklahoma State. Originally played at Utah Tech from Roy High School is where he balled out. Played at Utah Tech, then transferred to Oklahoma State where he balled out, and then came to Brigham in his final few years. And he was a little bit dinged up last year, and now he's become a little bit more svelte and looks fantastic. He's in fantastic shape. We caught up with him. We'll get to know him a little bit better in this segment. But before we do, wanted to welcome into the show one of the owners and operators, the creators of a magnificent website called True Blue Cougar, truebluecougar.com. Stay true, bleed blue, and check out the go-to destination for BYU sports fan, nonstop coverage, fan-first features, relentless positivity. That's what True Blue Cougar does. We got Michael Peterson on the line. Michael, how you living?
I'm doing great. The season is getting closer.
It is.
Very exciting.
Yeah, a couple of things here, Michael. Number one, let's level set. True Blue Cougar, we've discussed it before. Let's discuss it again. What is truebluecougar.com all about?
It's a single platform for all of BYU sports. So we're bringing in sports coverage, print coverage from all over the web into one interface. And then we're bringing in video and hot takes from social media and building articles around those as well. And the whole idea is to show all of Cougar Nation in real time, whatever hour of the day or night you log in. It also has a new fan board that's a dead serious BYU fan board called Cougar Community. And we're also bringing in our own writers. So we have unique writers. We have 3 right now, Jackson Winder, Jordan Corbett, and Minty Buckwalder. We also have some others that have had stints at places like the Deseret News, at KSL, and so forth. So we're writing a lot of our own original content. If you go to the site right now, you'll see a story that Jackson just broke last night about how Delaney Gibb has led Canada 1 closer to the Olympics. I think it's really amazing that she went up there to do that, under the risk of injury, right? But she did that for her native Canada, and there's highlights on there as well.
That's awesome. I love it. What makes this site different than other fan sites, than other platforms that are out there covering Cougar sports?
It's the idea that we are condensing it and bringing it in a way that's easy to read, easy to follow, easy to pick up. Like right now, if you log in right now, you can really see what's going on all across Cougar Nation. And then you can go deep if you want to too. So we have a relationship, a formal relationship with Sports Illustrated and with Lawless Republic. So we have full republication rights with them. And Casey Lundquist, he's a pretty amazing writer, and he does a lot of video. We're putting a lot of video into the individual articles. So if you want to go out there and spend 2 hours, it's real easy to do that. But if you've only got 10 minutes at lunch, you're gonna get a real good snapshot.
Now, and the website is free. You just peruse it. No cost associated with it.
No, it's free. Now, down the line, in the future, there will be a micro charge, something like, we haven't decided on the number, something like $4 or $5 a month. But that's a ways down the road yet. The whole entire platform is free indefinitely.
Michael, you're a big BYU fan. You're a True Blue Cougar fan. What have been your main takeaways from fall camp, Camp Kalani, thus far?
Well, it's all the new names that are popping up that weren't there before, like Cannon DeVries, for example. So he's been playing on the defense, and he intercepted Bear in one of the practices. And then you have, along the defensive line, you've got Pua and Purcell that have been under the radar. And I guess the kicker is really showing out in camp right now, Matthias Dunn. He's been kicking over 50 yards and more, and he's been very accurate for those that have watched him. So I think, and then Preston Rex, I think you've talked a little bit about him, right?
Oh, yeah. No, love Preston Rex. He stood out throughout the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so there's a lot of new faces, and then there's the transfers that are all doing really well, like Legend Glasgow and Olave and so forth. So it's a really exciting team right now. I just can't wait for them to hit the field.
Yeah, no doubt. Basketball also picked up another big. Jackson Kohler coming to Brigham, coming home, baby. He's an OG from American Fork. I believe he was a caveman, if I'm not mistaken. And then now he's a BYU Cougar after being a part of Sparty Nation for so long. That's a big pickup for KY and his crew.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? I think he's the missing piece. We've got a big guy down low that can bop and can score low, and then you've got these other players that can drive the basket, and then we have all the threes. Yeah, it looks like a real formidable team.
It looks. I mean, it's an awesome team. I think if the only critique that anybody the contrarian would bestow on this team, if you could, is like, we don't have a Vocatitis. We don't have a 7-footer. You have 2 6'9" big men that can play the 4 or the 5, and then you have Jake Wallin at like 6'10", who's more of a stretch 4, maybe 3-man as well. So there's not like a 7-footer that has led a team to deep in the NCAA tournament like you saw last year amongst many of the teams. But Jackson Kohler is one of the best bigs in the country, in my opinion. He's got a 7+ foot wingspan, and I think he's a 3-level scorer in many ways. He's definitely going to stretch the floor. So I'm excited about it. And Cougar Nation, you can read all about it at truebluecougar.com. Stay up to date on the latest and greatest in Cougar Nation. It's a one-stop shop for all you Cougar fans in Cougar Country that are looking for your go-to destination for BYU sports. We'll catch up with you again, Michael. We appreciate you hopping on and for launching True Blue Cougar, brother.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been great. It's been awesome.
Love it. Michael Peterson, ladies and gentlemen, truebluecougar.com. Why don't we get to it? True Blue Cougars right now, like Justin Kirkland, baller, shot caller. Let's do a little player profile brought to you by Atrium Hotel and Suites. If you're heading out to the BYU TCU game, stay with fellow Cougar fans at Atrium Hotel and Suites in the DFW area. It's only about 10 minutes away from the airport there. And there's a 24/7, 365 shuttle that can take you from the airport to the hotel. You can have great, spacious rooms and all-you-can-eat breakfast. They got double king rooms as well. Stay with fellow Cougars at Atrium Hotel and Suites for that BYU TCU game. It's owned and operated by BYU alumni as well. So let's rise and shout and head on over to atriumhotelandsuites.net/Cougar Sports, and you can utilize the Cougar Sports promo to get 25% off. That's Cougar Sports, and you get 25% off at checkout. All right, Justin Kirkland. Last week on Friday at Camp Kalani, the big man, the in the middle defensive tackle for BYU.
Justin, looking trim.
Yes, sir.
How'd the offseason treat you, man?
It was really good. They had us out there working out every morning in the summertime, you know what I'm saying? So hanging out with the boys, getting sweaty, all that, eating right. So it was fun.
What last year you were intermittent in your playing time, right?
Yep.
Why was that, and how are you taking on a bigger role this year?
Yeah, so when I first got here from Oklahoma State, it was like my first week working out, and I tore my meniscus. So just kind of battling back through that one with that injury. And then that defensive line room already had some good veteran guys, JT, Keanu, and then our young guys really stepped up really well. So it just kind of made more sense for me to get back to 100% with my knee and stuff like that, and then come back for the senior year.
So what's the total weight loss? What's the number? How much did you shed?
So last year I was weighing about 345, and this year I'm at 305. So yeah, it's been, tell you what, shout out to my wife. She's been making chicken, avocado, really healthy stuff the whole time. Quit going to get ice cream. You know, I was on a no fun food diet, but it worked. So
was that the toughest thing, ice cream, cutting that out?
Yeah, I'm a big ice cream guy. I actually live out in Springville, so shout out Maggleby's for their chocolate cake. It's delicious, man. But yeah, that was after I had to really limit myself to maybe one cheat meal a week. And then, I've watched the pounds just fly off. Shout out to the strength conditioning team, too. They were, yelling at me the whole time, run harder, all that stuff, too. So it was a group effort. But, yeah, once I cut out the bad calories, it was pretty easy.
So what's it like playing at 40 less pounds?
Tell you what, I feel like I can run forever. So it's been a lot of fun. And just beat this defense in general. Like Oklahoma State, we were a true 3-down front. And so it was kind of not necessarily hold blockers, but it was hold blockers so linebackers can make plays. Where here it's like, dude, let loose and go have fun. So it's been just a lot more fun. Lower pad level, being able to run farther, just stuff like that. So plus all this offensive line might be the best offensive line in the country, and they're super athletic. So I was almost like a step behind when I was 340, and now we're all just on par with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Justin, speaking of the O-line, do you know what FTP stands for?
I tell you what, I've been with those guys for months, and I still have no idea. I just throw something out, make something up. It could be like
they know, Ben.
Then I have no idea, and they won't tell me. So while we're in the middle of the play, I'll try to whisper in their ear and ask, but they're pretty secretive, those boys.
Do you have a favorite tactic you like to align in? 1, 3, 0? What do you like to be?
I like to line up where I get the double team so everybody else can get the one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then when I do get the one-on-one, it's finesse moves only. So if you see a lot of spin moves, just know that's my forte.
No bull rush.
No, you would think that, but I'm more of a side scissors kind of guy. Hit him with the bear crawl move. I just try to throw things out there, see what happens. So.
All that yoga work in the office.
Exactly. Yes. If you see me out there just doing some a backflip downward dog over someone, just know it was planned.
Justin, just dropping the weight, does it affect your ability to take on double teams? You feel like at all?
I don't think so. It really luckily I was very blessed. I didn't lose any strength. So I just lost a lot of the ice cream weight, and so it was really good. And then just the way his defense plays too, our linebackers, Cade, Ciale, Glasgow, Jake, those boys, they're hitting the gap fast. And so our double teams, they last maybe 2 seconds max. So it's been we worry about the double teams, but we don't worry about it because it's just a hard bump and climb. And so as long as we can just stick that, it works out pretty good.
How do you feel like the defense reacted from the scrimmage on Saturday through this week? It seems like Kalani in the post-scrimmage was giving credit to all the running backs that had great days. How did the defensive line, the defensive front react to that?
I tell you what, we're a bunch of old guys, and so we all have been on teams where you get scored on. I've never seen a defense where they don't get scored on, and so having a team and a fall camp where the offense is really good and the defense is really good, it just kind of makes you look forward to the season. Because if it was one-sided the whole time, it's that makes you nervous what the season looks like. And so just having the guys rally the troops and not we didn't lose composure or anything. Everybody kind of knew what we had to do, and then got everybody else on board and didn't let anybody panic or sink the boat. And we're flying around and making plays the same way. So it'll be good to get back in the stadium again tomorrow and give them a good run.
Does it mean anything to you to open against your former school, Utah Tech?
Yeah, how about that, man? Isn't that funny? Yeah. So when we played when I was at Utah Tech, 2022, we played BYU. So it's kind of funny to go full circle and play those boys. It'll be fun.
Who do you like to match up against on the offensive line? Who typically gives you some fits and gives you a great look to prepare you for Big 12 play?
The All Big 12 center, Bruce Mitchell. That dude, yeah, he is phenomenal. That dude is, all of 6'4", 305 pounds. He plays with his pad levels, face mask on the ground half the time. You know what I'm saying? That dude is legit. Hard to bull rush, has a good frame, powerful. And then the problem with Bruce is he's always smiling too. And so even he'll get me a couple plays, I'll get him a couple plays, and we sit right next to each other in the locker room. And it's just all right, dude, you want to go get some lunch? You know what I'm saying? So he is a dude who on the field, he wants to kill you, but off the field, you could call him at 2 a.m. and he'd answer. So.
Is that part of the Kalani culture where you guys compete out here, but you guys love and learning in the locker room?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it just goes to in the locker room, we're all split up. So you're not with your position group, and in the team room, we're all sitting next to each other and stuff like that. And so just being able to be friends with everybody, it's it doesn't matter if Bruce is calling a DB or a DB is calling, a wide receiver, everybody's friends. And obviously football, we're all competitors and stuff like that. And BYU plays a very physical brand of football. But then off the lines, it's I want to see you succeed just as much as you want to see me succeed. And so I do think that is a culture thing. And I do think the coaches do promote the lead with love very well. But at the same time, we did come here to play football. So it's a physical game.
You've been around the block
Last
a lot.
Question. I was just going to say, so many of these guys you play on the offensive side of the ball were here last year. Cade's one of the guys that wasn't. So what have you seen from Cade that's impressed you?
Hey, that dude is a dog. And I tell you what, he showed up and immediately flowed in the system perfectly. And he showed up the right way. He didn't come in and he wasn't overbearing or anything like that or try to impose his ways. He just kind of came in, rode the wave. And then obviously he's a phenomenal football player, phenomenal leader. And I'm super excited that he is a Cougar this year. So.
All right, Justin, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Mike's hot, Ben.
All right, there you go. That's Justin Kirkland. I love this. I'll tell you what, Justin Kirkland, whether he's talking about dieting, whether he's talking about his love and learning of ice cream, I get a kick out of it. He's talking about backflip downward dog, bear crawling through the defense or the offensive line. That guy's a hoot, man. He's got some good comedy. He's a great interview and has a personality that is unique and singular to this BYU football team. Sits right next to Bruce Mitchell in the locker room. And don't get it twisted. Those guys get after it every single day. Both of them violent, large humans.
Strong.
Very strong. Hosses, if you will. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to try to block Justin Kirkland, and I wouldn't want to try to move Justin Kirkland off that line of scrimmage. So that's Justin Kirkland. Ronald, the three-man Weaver, thoughts, commentary, follow-up. Good interview with Justin. Give him some love to his teammates as well.
Yeah, definitely good energy, Ben. I think the biggest thing that was asked by you, Gurney, and the other media members down there is he hasn't lost his strength. He lost the weight. He said the ice cream weight, to be specific, to talk about ice cream. That was the biggest thing that stuck out to me, because anytime, Ben, you drop from 345 to 305 or, down to 300, your strength, the muscle normally goes with that, the ability to take on double teams, and he says that's not the case. And he likes to be able to take the double team for his teammates to eat. So
yeah, I love that self-sacrificing nature that he's got. He's like, I just want to take on double teams.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I like the double team actually. He's like, so everybody else can eat. That's totally okay. And then if I get one-on-ones, a little finesse,
Sure.
We'll see what we can do. So I think that's why Ben, if he didn't have that type of mentality, attitude, and if he wasn't a team guy, I don't feel like he'd have been back at BYU with everything that occurred and how it went. But sometimes the injury is a blessing in disguise. So I think last year, and from what he said, it was good that he took that year off. Now, Ben, it's like Isaiah Glasser said, good luck to the offensive linemen that have to go against them, because you got Keanu. Remember, he bull rushed that guy in the TCU game and then got Josh Hoover. So you got Keanu now, and now you got Justin. When both those boys are in the middle, good luck stopping them. And then you add Tausili, you add Hunter Clegg, you add Nusi Taumopeau. Ben, I like what they have now on this defensive line, because now they can stop the run. They can get after the quarterback. Is going to be really enlightening, I think, for BYU fans to see how BYU's pass rush is able to perform this season.
Yeah, I was talking to G-Man, and one of the interviews that he had with the defensive line coaches, he said that they can go 11 players deep. Now, I don't know if I'm convinced of that across the defensive line. That would mean that you have a 3.5 group rotation, which is a bit of an anomaly at BYU. Like, if you have two groups rotating, you're in phenomenal shape. Upwards of 8 players. 11, that's a lot of proven players. Now, I'm not saying that is the case. That's just what G-Man related to me. To be determined if you do. But I do like that the two deep, that we have some good football players, and between Keanu and Justin, and then on the edges you got Bodie. And depending on who you want to employ on that weak side edge, Hunter Clegg is nice. Tausili Akana brings a different flair. Braxton Lindsey, when Nusi is healthy, pretty unstoppable. Can't wait to see how this Kelly Papinga run defense is going to utilize all the talents, all of the clay that he has before him as an artisan of this defense. Let's take a timeout. We'll be back, Cougar Nation. We're live from our Vanderwell studios, vanderwell.com. Get on a free Q&A, no obligation to invest. Q&A with our Tax Smart Wealth advisors, certified financial planners. Nobody does it better than Blaine Anderson and his crew. And that segment with Justin Kirkland was brought to you by Atrium Hotel and Suites. If you're heading out to the BYU TCU game, make sure you stay at a BYU alumni-owned hotel. atriumhotelandsuites.net/Cougar Sports is the direct link. That's atriumhotelandsuites.net/Cougar Sports. Utilize the Cougar Sports promo code to get 25% off your stay on October 2nd, heading into October 3rd for that BYU TCU game today. Let's take a timeout. We'll be back with more Cougar Sports. On the flip side, Ronald, the three-man Weaver, caught up with Lewis Walker, your cornerbacks coach. One of our biggest question marks is depth at corner. We'll find out how much proven depth is on this back end of the secondary. Coming up next, this is Cougar Sports 103.9, 98.3 ESPN The Fan. Welcome back, Cougar Sports 103.9, 98.3 ESPN The Fan. I'm Ben Criddle, broadcasting from our Vanderwell studios, our ultimate tailgater here on your Utah ESPN Radio Network. Going to get into a little college football and Cougar Sports here on your Utah ESPN Radio Network. As I mentioned, Vanderwell.com. Get on a free Q&A today at Vanderwealth.com. Talk to Blaine Anderson, NFL PA certified financial planner. He wants to aid you. He wants to support you in your quest for financial stability and sustainability. Okay, if you have a fuzzy vision of your financial future, look no further. Blaine Anderson has been aiding and supporting the Cougar athletes for a long time, BYU student athletes for a long time. He wants to aid and support you guys as well. That is Vanderwealth.com. Got a great segment for you. Run on the three-man Weaver, our very own, our executive producer and host, co-host. He wears many hats for all of you out there in Cougar Nation and here at ESPN The Fan. You were able to catch up with Lewis Walker. Now, what was the catalyst behind wanting to interview Lewis specifically?
Because, Ben, I feel from my concern, right, and I get it, there are valid concerns out there, Ben, and you guys have touched on some of them in the first hour if you missed it, us on the podcast. But for me, Ben, I am very concerned behind Evan Johnson, Therian Alexander III. I'm a little concerned because, heaven forbid, knock on wood, one of those guys goes down. Who's behind them? Javen Williams, I think, is fitting nicely. He's made some plays. Ben, we've been able to be there. He's played well in the scrimmage. The coaching staff has talked about him. And maybe he was as expected, but again, didn't have a high volume. And Ben, when you move around a lot, for me, it's like, okay, are you an impact player? Is it not the right fit? So there are some question marks, but I think he's fitting nicely. But outside of that, what's nickel looking like? Remember, Tommy Prastas had to step in. We know Tavion Beasley played, but he left. He was a 2-deep guy.
Yeah.
Jonathan Cabell, we have no idea what's going on. I don't know if I had a chance to see him. Right, he was dinged up last year. You had mentioned soft tissue injuries. It's tough. So I was concerned, okay, what's nickel looking like? And then behind these guys, who do you have? What's Matthias Leach's development looking like? What is Jordan Chris looking like? Can those guys play? If they have an opportunity to be in the game, what would that look like? So that was the catalyst mainly behind it. And then for, Lewis, how has he built unity? When you're a new coach and fill in the shoes of Gennaro, that's tough, man. You can't overlook that. So that was the reason why I wanted to, just because I think that you got two of the best cornerbacks in the Big 12, if not the best. If one of them goes down, who do you have behind that? Just unproven. So I wanted to give Cougar Nation some hope.
I like that. Well, I'll tell you who has a tremendous amount of confidence in the secondary in the cornerbacks room. It's Trey Alexander. Trey Alexander gave some really good quotes recently with Brandon C. Gurney. I'll let G-Man pontificate from his pulpit and express what he actually told him. I'm sure he'll be penning a piece here shortly that will be published at the Daily Herald. But I want to see just how confident Lewis Walker is in this cornerbacks room. Now, if you look at the cornerbacks room in its totality, we all know about Evan Schmevin. He is the CB1, and I believe he'll be. I think he could become a day 2 NFL draft pick. Many people think he's a day 3 guy, though. And I think at worst, that's what he is. He's definitely going to be drafted. So we know Evan. We know Trey. Trey is long, limber, athletic. The only thing that I think Trey has ever lacked is just like ball skills to be able to just pick off passes. He's a phenomenal corner that can run with the best of them. And I just want to see him improve his ball skills. But Trey is a baller, 6'2", 175. He's been a boon for BYU over the last few seasons. And then behind him, you got Javen Williams, the Mississippi State transfer, 6'2", 175, really good athlete. He's a tenured talent. He's played a lot of college football, so he's ready to step in immediately. Those 3 proven. Those 3 I trust. But who else is there? Kevin Doe, okay? Jonathan Cabella, Jordan Chris, Justice Braithwaite, Seth Shigg. That's who you have at cornerback. So let's find out what Lewis Walker likes about his cornerback room and who he'd like to highlight with Ronald the three-man Weaver earlier. Oh, well, it was actually last Friday at Camp Kalani.
All right, we're here with the cornerbacks coach, Lewis Walker. Coach, give us your evaluation of practice today.
Yeah, I thought the guys came out with a lot of energy.
It's also with Nate Church from the Daily Universe, but he stops like 3 or 4 minutes into it.
I did that. It was good to see the first group go out and execute the 2-minute drill on defense, and then the second group coming out and having a long drive, and it comes down to the last second play. You know, those are where we really got to get the details and just honing in and focusing on that play right there. It's the game or it's nothing, right?
That's the
and
live
so
chat.
I thought the guys did that, and just the way these guys have just been just performing and just staying together right now has been really good.
How is this defense?
Is that on YouTube?
Specifically the cornerbacks compared to your other defenses in person worked with in the past?
Yeah, for me, this group in the cornerback room right now, I mean, we have the size and the speed. Like, we have everybody that's really long guys that can all run. They're all track guys, and I think that's been the biggest difference for me is having those longer guys there, and then just trying to get these guys just to understand their size and their physical attributes and get them to play physical on the perimeter while always just being able to compete on the outside. Whenever we got to make a play, we have to make it.
We're 3 weeks through fall camp. Next week is week 4. Who's emerged as, in that 2D that's been rotating that cornerback?
Yeah, I mean, me and Coach Wesley Johnson have been trying to get these guys to rotate a lot to try to find out who those next guys are. You got Evan who's coming off of a really good campaign. He's got to up that for this year, and then just challenging him with the leadership. And then you got Trey on the other side, who's a fiery guy, and he's got to be able to come in with some more technique, just being able to play a low pad level with being a long guy that he is. And then you got a rotation in that next group between Javen Williams, who's been doing a really, really good job, very consistent, very even keel. And then you got Kevin Doe, Matthias Leach, and Jordan Chris, who are all kind of fighting for it. So it's a luxury when you can have a deep corner room like that. But then the level of competition and the level of execution can't drop off from those next guys when the other guys come out. And so we're just trying to find who those next guys are going to be, the consistent ones that can go in there and do the job.
Tell me about Evan and Trey, how they've helped you come in the new room as a coach. Tell me a little bit about the atmosphere in the group.
Yeah, Evan and Trey did a tremendous job, and they still do a tremendous job right now with me coming in here, trying to learn the scheme that they've been in for a couple years now, and then just adding some new flavors with Kelly being the new defensive coordinator. But our identity is still the same, but those guys help me when I'm asking about past techniques that they've done and what did they do last year, and trying to find out, are there ways to make it better, or are there ways for us to just execute better? And so from a technical standpoint, those two guys have been really, really good at that. From the X's and O's standpoint, they've been really good at that, and they're just tremendous leaders in our cornerback room.
You had mentioned Matthias Leach, you mentioned Jordan Chris. What do those guys have to do to get on the field? Jordan Chris has a nice hit set.
Yeah, those two guys are long, fast, springy guys that can jump out the roof. Matthias Leach has some of the best ball skills that I've been around. And then when he wants to play physical, he's going to go in there and do it. And he showed that a couple practices ago, holding the edge against the running back and all those blockers coming to the edge. And it's just consistency for both of those guys. They don't have any snaps on defense under their belt. So throwing them into the fire and getting those guys being able to understand, like, it's one play at a time. And if they can do that and be consistent, they have the talent to get the job done. It's the mental makeup of it now.
As you guys get ready for Utah Tech, what are some of those things going into game 1 that you're specifically focusing on?
Yeah, just the guys not letting the moment be too big. You got Evan and Trey who have a lot of ball games under their belt, but then now it's seeing, all right, can we get those guys some breaks and give them some rest so they don't have to play 60, 70 snaps a game, because this season becomes a long, long way when you got to play every single snap. And so we just tell the room, and iron sharpens iron, and when we can all compete and be consistent, we're not only pushing those two to elevate their game and continue leading us, but then we're also giving those guys opportunity to go into the game. And so just not letting that moment be too big for this first game, and just allowing those guys just to go out and play free.
So we saw a lot of rotation and nickel. I think I saw Cannon DeVries today in that position. What have you been liking from Cannon and just the people competing at the nickel spot?
Yeah, there's a slate of guys competing for the nickel spot, and I think Cannon DeVries has done a really good job. He's shown some physicality, shown good zone awareness, continue to help him out in some of the man coverage stuff. Tommy Prastis has been doing a great job while he's taking double duties at safety while Falatau's out. And then you got him going in at nickel, and another cerebral guy that can do it. And then when we want to change it up a little bit, we have Evan that can go in at nickel, and now you have an extremely confident man cover guy.
Wow,
but he's also a physical guy, which is shown on the perimeter out at corner as well. So I think we have a good problem here.
Hey, Ben.
Many guys that can go out and play on the field right now for us.
Ben, you there?
I need to know, if someone drops a pick, what's the punishment? I need to know.
Yeah, just in our cornerback room, any mistake you make, any missed assignment you make is 20 push-ups right off the bat. We'll come back and correct it and let them know, like, what can you have done better? What are you supposed to do to be assignment sound? But when it comes to dropping picks, man, I'll tell those guys that's the difference between
Ben, you're still there, right?
Dropping in the draft stock or becoming a free agent to not getting that opportunity. And so every one of those opportunities makes up a big deal in terms of what they want for their dreams of aspirations past the collegiate level. And so they know that, and we haven't had many opportunities on the outside. We had a couple tip balls that we should have gotten that we ended up dropping. And so those guys know the money's left on the field, and you don't ever get those opportunities back.
You definitely don't. Obviously, the scrimmage last time, Kalani said the offense got better. What was the message to the guys to bounce back in the next one?
Yeah, for defense, the offense came out with a ton of juice. You know, they came out, the O-line was firing off the ball. Defensively, we weren't playing with pad level and the ferocity that we need to play with up front. And then on the back end, just being able to cover the guys and come up and be in the run support as well. And so when we can be all on the same page, man, this defense is very scary.
Off the field, have you tried to get these guys connected since your time coming to BYU?
Yeah, I'm big on relationships. And I told them day one when I got here in February, relationships to me is the foundation. And so just like having conversations with those guys that don't even involve football. I'm constantly checking on them on their outside lives and what they're doing. Obviously, when school starts, is checking in on that. And so just getting these guys around myself as much as possible. They have a good continuity because they've been here with each other, but incorporating the freshmen into that. And they've done a great job just accepting everybody into that. But we just try to build those relationships in terms of what we do, if it's activities or dinners outside of football, if it's just us just talking on the phone, whatever it may be. But these guys have a good feel for it. And the culture here that Kalani said is there, and they know the standard, and they all rise to it.
You said food. Has there been a favorite food spot that you've enjoyed with the guys?
Yeah, I forget what the Mexican spot is called down in Orem. Really good spot that they like. There's another spot in Pleasant Grove too. I'm blanking on these names, but I let them choose where they want to go, and we just go have a good time.
Hey, let the guys choose and just follow. That's the way to go about it. As you look at the season as a whole, how do you as a coach tell the cornerbacks stay away from the noise? The expectations from the media, us, and the national is BYU to the college football playoffs. How do you tune that out?
Yeah, they know that. I mean, everybody has it in the back of their head what the expectations are, and no one's standard is higher than what we have in this building. And so when we know that, and we can go out and play up to that and then exalt that and raise that standard, I mean, these guys follow suit. And like I said, it starts with our head man Kalani, and it filters down to our coordinators and the position coaches and then the players. And we let these players lead this program. And so letting them know, we always say it, right? Under promise, over deliver. If we can come out and just tell them, yeah, we're going to have a good year. We got things to work on, but then our product on the field shows for itself. And if we can do that one game at a time, one play at a time, we'll end up where we want to end up by the end of the year.
Last couple of things from BYU cornerbacks coach Lewis Walker. What's a day in the life like for you, outside of coaching? I have to ask. Football means everything, but, you go home at some point.
Yeah, when I go home, man, that's like the time to football still in the back of your brain. You're never letting go of that, but how can I then digest other things? Like I like fishing, so I try to find some good fishing spots here. Obviously, here in Utah, we're blessed with all types of things to do all year round. So hikes here are tremendous, just going out, relaxing. And then I love playing golf, and there's some other guys on the staff that love playing golf, so we get together and go out and do that. That's just another way for us as coaches to be able to bond as well.
Outside of Fessy, we can't say him. Who's the best golfer out of the coaches?
Man, that's a tough feat. I mean, Coach Gilbride is a pretty good golfer. Coach Wesley Johnson is a really good golfer. I think those two guys, in my opinion, will be the ones that I was.
All right.
They will be in
there we go.
That one after Fessy.
How do you evaluate yourself, though?
I'm pretty good. I'm still learning. I just watch YouTube videos. That's how I learned how to golf. I've never taken lessons, but as much as I can go out to the golf range, the driving range, and then go out onto the course and try to incorporate. And then this last golf outing that we just had as a team, got some pointers from Fessy, and it really corrected my game. So we'll see the next time that I go out.
Yeah, Fessy's the guy that golfs. He's the one that you got to pick his brain here and there. Last thing, breakfast question I've been asking the coaches, players. Pancakes or waffles? Why?
I'm going with pancakes just because I like the fluffiness of the pancakes. Waffles sometimes they can get a little bit dry. And if you get a pancake that got some fluff and you just drizzle that thing in some syrup, I think you're all good there.
Is there a certain spot you recommend that people try?
Ooh, oh man.
Doesn't have to be in Utah.
Off the top of my head, I'm a very simple guy. I don't go out and eat much, to be honest with you. But when I do, there's some good spots here in Utah, though.
We at the cornerbacks, Coach Lewis Walker. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you guys very much. Go Cougar.
Mike's hot.
There you go. A lot of gems there from Coach Lewis Walker, cornerbacks coach BYU. Ronnie, give me your key takeaways from the Q&A.
Yeah, I like the name Cannon DeVries, Ben and nickel. Cannon's worked really hard, Ben, so we saw him featured with that ones group, right? I mentioned Javen Williams. Javen Williams was out there with Evan and Cannon, so I like that. I know Tommy's been doing double duty there. He said, Falatau's been out, so I think that is a big thing. You talked about Matthias Leach and Jordan Chris, is just opportunities to be able to get that done. So it brings up a really big question, Ben, of if someone would get dinged up because it's a game of attrition, what could the guys behind? And you mentioned a plethora of the guys in that room, not just those other two, but I like that he mentioned that. You want your top guys to always be available, but I'm confident Lewis Walker's confident that the springy, the track guys, everybody who's fast that can keep up in that room, that if something were to occur, they could. He still wants to have Evan take a big jump. But, you got the first three guys, and now the two behind it, those names, I think Matthias and Jordan are going to have their opportunity in the Utah Tech game to make plays, to put their hands up. So we'll see what they're able to do. And by the way, just a side note, the food place, because I like food too, Ben. Maria Bonita is the place that he's talking about.
Oh, Maria Bonita, huh?
So they could be
Maria Bonita. You could be a sponsor of the show too, man. Sounds delicious.
100%. Come slide over. But yeah, Ben, I think that's the big thing is we're starting to see what the two deep is looking like.
Mm-hmm.
Trey and look, he even challenged Trey a little bit. He's good, but you talked about it. His ball skills, he's got a little bit lower. So I like what they have, and I think the development of the players behind them coming along is great. But yeah, we'll see what happens at the nickel position. But right now, I think Cannon and Tommy are going to be those guys.
Are you more confident about the depth after chatting with Lewis Walker, or
yes,
is there?
100%.
Okay, you are. You feel
a little bit more confident. Yeah, I wouldn't say overconfident, but
because outside of the top three, like who do you feel confident in? Kevin, do you feel confident in Jordan Chris? Where do you feel the level of confidence that these cornerbacks, if you have to delve into the depth against Big 12 foes back end of the season, they can come up and they can cover for the Cougs?
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm more confident in Matthias, Leach, Jordan Chris, and then I think Kevin Doe. Those would be the guys after that. Kevin's been taking reps with the twos, and Kevin's been coming along, Ben. They've been making them, they've been helping them and ushering them. But he was in coverage with Tiger Bachmeier. Remember that practice that we saw? We got a hand on that football. So that's a guy that's long, athletic. He can size you up. He's a big body. So that could be that guy that could play. Obviously, they're going to have to get actual in-game reps, but I think it might take some time. And I don't want people, to jump into it. Oh, Ron said this on the air. Because those guys first play out, Ben, might get cooked. Very well could happen. Game speed, jumping in, the nerves, all of that plays a factor. But I think if Evan or Trey were to go down and they had a full week of practice to get prepared, I think they'd play well. Remember Maury Bamba came in, Ben, and it took Maury a little bit to come along. And then what happened? He made that wonderful play in the Utah game where he tracked the guy down on
that was a great play, man.
Great play, right? Track guy. I look at Jordan Chris, I look at Matthias Leach, Kevin Doe. I think they all have the ability and the skill set to do the same thing. Remember the Arizona game? Maury lit up Noah Fafita, and he was great in coverage. His two best games.
The biggest issue, I'm going to retort here, because I agree with you. I love Maury Bamba, but Maury had played 2 years of JUCO ball, and he had been in the system for seemed like he was a fifth-year guy. You know what I mean? Like before, we really saw him. I really saw him come to prominence. I remember he had a PBU versus Baylor on the road, and that was a big one. I want to see. I can't remember what year that was. Was that 2023 or 2024? But at any rate, he became more consistent. I'm just concerned. Kevin Doe has been on the roster for a minute, and he's developing. Maybe he's that guy. Maybe he's the Maury Bamba type, and I think that's what you're leading to.
That is, and that's why I say I'm a little bit more confident. If I had to say I was probably, I hate to say this, but 50-50, because after that, and I'm more down to probably the 35-40 range, that it's taking it back a step, and they're going to have to go out and prove it, Ben, and there's going to be question marks, and rightfully so, when you don't have snaps. I mean, we can make the same argument for Trayson Bourget. Now, obviously, Trayson is showcased well in camp, but again, does that correlate to the actual field? We don't know. it very well could. There's star talent all around that could get out there that cannot perform. So a little bit more confident. The anxieties are a little bit less than what they were, but yeah, there's still, I think, concerns and questions, and they're valid.
That was Coach Lewis Walker alongside Ronald the Three-Man Weaver in that Q&A. Great segment, and it was brought to you by our good friends over here at Dental Pros of Utah, dentalprosofutah.com. If you've been told you need a filling, a crown, a root canal, all I'm asking you to do, Cougar Nation, is get a second opinion. Everyone has the local dentist they may go to, but they may not be utilizing the most modern techniques. These are biomimetic techniques to rebuild your teeth layer by layer and conserve your natural anatomy and the enamel. Many times you have to resort to crowns and root canals after a poorly done, poorly executed, or too many fillings. So you want to avoid fillings the traditional way at all costs and utilize the biomimetic techniques that Dental Pros of Utah in American Fork utilizes. So check out their Google reviews. You won't be disappointed in their products, their service, the education that they provide all you Cougar fans in Cougar country. Check it out today at Dental Pros of Utah in American Fork. I do want to give a big Cougar roar to the Utah State Fair. Ronnie, are you going to be heading out to the Utah State Fair this year?
I will not be at the Utah State Fair.
What, man? Utah State Fair, man, you're going to go on the Zipper, the Gravitron, the Fireball. You got to head on out. The Utah State Fair is coming up. ESPN The Fan wants to send you and the family every single week for this thing. You got to tune in to ESPN The Fan, Bryson Bianucci, around 8:45 a.m. for your chance to score a family pack of 4. That is a family pack of 4 tickets, 8:45 a.m. on ESPN The Fan, tuning in to Bryson Bianucci so that you can attend the Utah State Fair as well. More details at ESPNTheFan.com. Let's take a timeout. We'll be back. Okay, I caught up with Demario Warren. So we've been talking a lot of cornerbacks and safeties in this on this show. Part of the reason is piggybacking off our question today. What do we have concerns about, right? What are we concerned about after 3 weeks of Camp Kalani? I've said special teams, and I'm still a little bit concerned about our back end and the depth that we have at safety and corner and nickel, right? We have a great front line. The first string guys, I'm confident. I need to see some depth. I need to see some development there. Let's get to know the safeties through the eyes, the voice of Demario Warren. Coming up next, your defensive passing game coordinator. This is Cougar Sports 103.9, 98.3 ESPN The Fan.
for the college football teams you care about. Wins, losses, and everything in between. We talk it through on 103.9 and 98.3 ES.
Here we go.
Okay. Ever wonder what coaches are really saying
Coming back.
their press conferences? Well, Ben Criddle is here to break it all down.
Self-serve mattress here, Ben.
In segment, Ben breaks down the latest sound from BYU coaches and players.
I got Michael ready.
Now on Cougar Sports.
Mike's hot, Ben.
Welcome back, Cougar Sports, 103.9, 98.3, ESPN The Fan. I'm Ben Criddle, broadcasting from our Vanderwelt studios, vanderwelt.com. Appreciate all you Cougar fans in Cougar country tuning in today on the radio or on the stream. Thanks for tuning in, chiming in, wherever you may roam. We are going to get into a little reading between the lines segment, and it's going to be brought to you by Self-Serve Mattress, selfservemattress.com. I was able to catch up with safeties coach Demario Warren. You're not going to want to miss this as he delves into the depth of the back end. Who's in his circle of trust, right? It's all about trust. So who's in his circle of trust? Who does he trust to ball out for Brigham in that safety room? We'll get to it here momentarily. As I mentioned, it's brought to you by Self-Serve Mattress, selfservemattress.com. I love Self-Serve Mattress. I think you will as well. Selfservemattress.com, located at the Provo Town Center. We are going to be actually on remote on Saturday at Self-Serve Mattress. Cougar football players will be in attendance, and we're going to be giving away some mattresses for all you Cougar fans in Cougar country. But you can come on in, get your some autographs, try out all the different mattresses there. They have a wide variety of different mattresses to choose from, and if BYU goes 12-0, you get your mattress for free. That's right. If BYU goes 12-0, you get that mattress for free. If Cougar wins big, win big, you do too at Self-Serve Mattress, selfservemattress.com. Before we get into the sound, though, I want to welcome in one of the loyal, strong, and true of Cougar Nation. He's one of the owners and operators of the latest, the greatest, the best website in Cougar Nation right now, TrueBlueCougar.com. Michael Peterson is on the line. Michael, how are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, we're just very thrilled at the response to True Blue Cougar. We were at Cougar Kickoff, and we had sign-ups nonstop for 2 hours straight. We were pretty overwhelmed. And we just passed 1 million impressions in social media in August, just like we did at the end of July.
That is awesome.
So, yeah, we're really thrilled. The whole idea is that we're putting Cougar Nation under one roof. So the idea is to bring all of BYU sports into one place. So we're pulling coverage from all over the web, and then we add our own original content with professional writers, and then we're bringing in and emphasizing video and podcasts and video clips and takes from social media. And the whole idea is that the fan, BYU fan, at any hour of the day can jump in this really fun fan community that they can be a part of immediately and get into the conversation. So the idea is to, instead of bouncing around between 5 or 6 different places every day, you come to True Blue Cougar, and you're plugged right into Cougar Nation.
Love that. The go-to destination for BYU sports fans. Nonstop coverage, fan-first features, relentless positivity. That's what True Blue Cougar provides. What are some of the key elements right now, key storylines that are coming out of Cougar country right now via True Blue Cougar?
Well, I thought it was very interesting that Delaney Gibb went up to Canada and she led the national team there, and they appear to be on their way to the Olympics. Now, that's something she didn't have to do. We ran a feature on this late last night. Jackson Winder did a great job with that, and we have video of her performance there. And isn't that interesting that she would do that when, risk injury and so forth, and then you think that she's going up there and representing her country, Canada. And that's one of the unique kinds of stories that we look for and that we want to highlight and feature on True Blue Cougar.
I love it. We invite everyone to check out TrueBlueCougar.com. Also, final thing here, Michael, before we let you go, what have you loved about Camp Kalani thus far? We're only 2 weeks away now from kickoff, a little less than 2 weeks away. The football season can't get here soon enough.
No. Have you ever heard such buzz in August? I mean, you've been through this drill how many times?
Many.
There is a lot of excitement, and there's good reason because we have such a talented group of athletes. We made a big deal of the fact that the offense overwhelmed the defense apparently at the first scrimmage, but the defense caught up last week. In fact, Casey Lundquist reported that during the 2-minute drill on the very first play, Akana came flying around the edge for a sack, and then Bear Bachmeier had trouble going through his progressions later in the drive because of the pressure. So it was the first time that we've seen the defense take over a drive. So it's going to be kind of fun to go to that opening game and just watch how good the defense really is.
Love it. We invite everyone to follow you guys, truebluecougar.com. That's truebluecougar.com, the go-to destination for BYU sports fans. Thanks so much, Michael. We'll catch up with you again soon. Thanks for hopping on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Ben.
Always a pleasure talking football with Michael Peterson and being a part of the True Blue Cougar family. All right, let's get to it. DeMario Warren, your defensive passing game coordinator. I was able to catch up with him. Let's get to know the safety room through his eyes, through his voice.
What kind of have you changed anything from what Jay Hill ran as far as the safeties group, or you just say fans are going to see pretty much the same scheme?
Jay does a great job. So I mean, I don't know what fans see out there. So I know when I was a fan, if I'm just watching football, I don't know if I'm actually watching the techniques and all that. So we'll see what the fans do. But there's only so many coverages in college football. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and 4. So I mean, there's not much else that we can do. Jay had a really good package, and we've kept it. We kept a lot of the same defenses. So I think they'll see when they go out there and see like advanced play.
From a fans and media standpoint, traditionally BYU hasn't had the most talent on the back end. You've coached at a lot of different places, recently at Boise State. How would you describe the talent making that transition from Boise State to BYU?
It's awesome. I mean, Fale's a freak. I mean, he's 6'4", 220 pounds. He can run like a DB, and you got Raider back there that'll come down and thump you and can cover. And then you got Tommy, and then the corners are really fast. And Evan's amazing. Probably one of the best corners I've ever been around. Like, that dude can run. He plays at a great pad level, plays with great energy. And then Trey's high intensity, long corner. So, I mean, those 4 guys returning. You have some Tommies. You have the talent of Kennan. Like, there's some guys that can go, not just here, but anywhere in the country. So I'm excited to be able to do that, and that's a testament to the guys that came before us, like Jay Hill and Gennaro Guilford. They did a great job recruiting, and now it's our job to make sure that we do well and also recruit more guys in here that we can just keep building depth.
Speaking of that recruiting, you and Lewis have done a really good job this past offseason when you guys got integrated, got onto the recruiting front. How do you feel? How would you evaluate that? It seems like the recruiting class for the secondary is really, really good this next year as far as commitments are concerned.
Yeah, we're excited. Obviously, there's still a long way to go. We got to December till we sign anybody, but Lewis is a rock star. I mean, he recruits me every day. Every time I see his face, I'm like, I'm glad I'm here. So he's just a good guy to be around and does a great job with the guys. And K-Pop goes over and above D coordinator's role. Like, I'm talking to my recruits, and they're like, oh, yeah, I talked to K-Pop last night. And every time I talk to K-Pop, like, how is he calling all these guys all the time? So just everybody does a great job. Kalani steps in and does a great job of selling the university. And he just who he is, every time you talk to him, you just feel warm and feel like you feel the love that this program is all about. And so I just think if we can just continue to show, really just illuminate what we have in this program, there's really nothing we have to do. We just got to show who Kalani is, show what type of program we are, and show the love that the players have for each other. And if we do that, recruiting will go really well.
When Kalani and K-Pop and the coaching staff were interviewing you and they presented you with this opportunity, what was your mindset like going through that interview process? Like, what were you thinking through that process?
It was weird. It happened fast. Jay left first before Gennaro, so I actually even talked to Gennaro before he left. And then Boise is such a special place. Coach Janison does an amazing job. She's a man of faith. He leads that program through Christ. And so that was something I knew was going to be tough for my wife and I to go through. So as we went through the process, Kalani actually called me from Disneyland one night. And it was the first day of the portal opening. So I was at the office getting recruits in, doing the whole deal. And we didn't know if this was going to happen or not. And he called and just told stories about coaches going to games and told different stories about the love of the program. And if I'm a better father and a better husband, then I'll be a better coach. And my wife looked at me after that and said, I think we got to go. And I just think that that's something that I got to grow in. I've been a head coach. I've been doing a lot of different things. Haven't been there for my family all the time. And this is a place that, like, for example, in spring ball, he made me go home. Go to Boise, go see your family, because they didn't move out till the summer. So this is something that I think God put me in a place here to grow. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. There's high expectations, and same thing with Boise. So it's like, how do I do that and still honor Kalani and honor Christ and live the right way and be a better father, be a better husband? And I think that's we're got 2 weeks away, and see how I can handle that over the next 4 months and still pursue to try to win a championship. I think that's a major goal, and that's the big reason we came here.
What are the foundational principles you like to teach your group? The culture that you're trying to instill in them, the mindset you're trying to instill in them as safeties, that back end of the defense.
Urgency, love, and strain. I think those are the 3 things that we need in the secondary. Urgency, because we got to be ahead of everything. We got to make the calls. We got to get a line quickly. We're the ones moving around a lot, so we got to have urgency. We got to make sure that we're in stances, we're communicating well. Then we got to show the love. I think that's what this place has been built off. You look at last season, I think there's 7 games they were losing, and they won 5 of those. Like, that's incredible. Like, I don't think we did that more than 5 times at Boise when I was there, just being able to come back. We did a couple times, but that's not easy to do. To be down second half, come back and win, like that's a special group. That's a special guys that they trust each other. Things go bad, they love on each other, they support each other, and then strain. Like, we got to be physical. We got to fly to the ball. Like, we got to strain to finish every play. Raider made a huge play in the back of the end zone interception. Like, that's straining. Like, if we just relax into that, we don't make that play. But if we strain all the way to the finish, we finish to the ground every play. Like, that's what we're looking for. And so I think those are the 3 things that carry us through the season: the urgency, the love for each other, and the strain to finish and strain to finish those plays.
You mentioned trust. Everything's based off trust when a coach is putting his personnel onto the field. Who's in your trust group right now, and who's working into that trust group that is going to probably see some PT, but is working into that trust field?
I'll be honest, trust both ways. I mean, the players trusting you, you trusting them, and you don't know until the bullets are live.
Yeah.
So there's guys that we want to see out there that want to give those guys opportunities, but until you don't know the measure of a man until you hit adversity. And so we're going to find out here. We're going to find out against Utah Tech. I guarantee they'll have a play over 10 yards, and we'll see how we react. And when we go in Arizona next week, I'm sure they're going to do something too. Like, they're going to have an explosive. And so early in the game, how do we respond? That's when we're really going to see how much trust we build, how these relationships are being built. And you don't know. It's only been 6 months, 8 months, and this is a football team that we don't have time and we don't have room for error. So we got to make sure that we go into this game and see who we really are, and then when the adversity hits, we'll see where we're at, see where we need to grow at, and we'll move on from there.
Kalani mentioned a little bit of adversity at Lavelle last Saturday. The offense got the better of the defense. How have you seen maybe a transition from that adversity this week in your room and in the secondary room?
I've been really proud of the guys. I think it was yesterday. We gave up a touchdown the first drive, and it did not look like the scrimmage after that. And that's the biggest thing. Like, we're going to give up plays. We're going to make mistakes. So how do we bounce back from that? And I thought yesterday they did a really good job of moving on, getting back, and being able to execute late in practice. And that's a 60-minute game. So however it starts, but we have to finish the right way no matter what it is. And play 1 is just as important as play 70. And we got to have that mentality that we're going out with urgency and going out there with love and strain and being able to go finish those plays.
Final thing, offensively, this is one of the most potent offenses you've maybe seen. I know you've coached up against a lot of good offenses out there. How would you, give some perspective about how good this offense is to Cougar Nation, because you're competing against them every day?
I think the best way to describe it is frustrating. Like, I try to put myself in Pop's head sometimes. And I'm like, this is just irritating. Like, you got different personnel groups. You have a coordinator that's really patient. Like, he doesn't mind getting to 33s because he knows he's got a quarterback that's going to get him in the right call and execute that play. And so you could get him to 5 third downs in one drive and not get off. And all of a sudden now you look up and you haven't played bad defense. You got a ton of efficiency plays and they're on the 10-yard line ready to score. And you're like, what just happened? So I think that's the biggest thing, is just, it is frustrating and irritating because A-Rod's so disciplined. He'll run the ball when you don't think he's going to run it. He'll have some trick plays when you're not expecting it, and then they're just going to march the ball. If you give him a shot, he'll take it. But if you don't, that ball's just going to work down the field, and you got to be able to execute. You got to be able to win your one-on-ones, and I think they do a great job of just, again, having a great plan, being disciplined, and being able to execute in those key situations.
Thanks so much. Demario Warren, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much. Yep. Appreciate it. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Mike's hot.
There you go. That's Demario Warren. Demo, as they like to, I think he has been called. That is his nickname, your safeties coach for BYU Cougar football. And out of all the coaches, I would say, I feel like a lot of the pressure is on Demo. Why would I say that? He's got the biggest shoes to fill. I mean, some people would say Kelly Papinga has the biggest shoes to fill. and you may be right as the defensive coordinator, but I actually think it's the safeties coach. I think it's the back end of our secondary.
Break them up.
When BYU has given up too many points over the years defensively, it's because it typically is coming through the air, and it's because we traditionally don't have as much talent, as much speed, and playmaking ability on the back end of our defenses over the last, since probably going back to the inception of BYU football. There's been some great years. There's no doubt about it. You can look at some great defenses, top 10 defenses over the years. The 2012 defense was phenomenal. I actually thought, 2020 was a great season. The last few years have been really, really good. But you have to replace Jay Hill, Jannar Guilford, and, of course, Gavin Fowler. Big shoes to fill, I think, for Demo as the passing game coordinator. He's running the pass defense. Are you limiting chunk yardage plays through the air? Will you be capable of taking the ball away as effectively as you have been over the last few years in critical situations? So I sense, he mentioned urgency. He mentioned strain, right? I feel,
gotta get the break.
I sense a sense of urgency in Demo. So I'm intrigued to see what he does and how he brings this group along. And he mentioned, hey, trust is a two-way street. They need to trust me. I need to trust them. And I think they're building that trust. But it's got to be accelerated. It's got to pick up right now. Or else, look, U of A's coming. It's not the Utah Tech game we're concerned about. It's that U of A game, Noah Fafita coming in with that phenomenal wide receiving core. Let's take a timeout, guys. Please don't go anywhere. We're live from our Vanderwell studios, vanderwell.com. Get on a free Q&A, no obligation to invest. Q&A with our Tax Smart Wealth advisors. And that segment, by the way, was brought to you by Self-Serve Mattress, selfservemattress.com. We're going to be live on remote Self-Serve Mattress here at the Provo Town Center. This weekend, this next Saturday, we're going to have Cougar football players in attendance, and we're going to be giving you Cougar sports content you can't get anywhere else. So we appreciate Self-Serve Mattress hosting us. And if BYU goes 12-0 this season, you get that mattress for free if you bought it from Self-Serve Mattress. So that's a great deal going on right now, a variety of different mattresses to choose from. You're going to sleep well, Cougar Nation, if BYU goes 12-0, because that thing will be for free and very comfy. We'll go to break. Don't go anywhere, Cougar Nation. Coming up next, I think we have the Brazilian Bomber coming on the show to talk about Jackson Kohler. Finally, it's officially official. What does Jackson Kohler bring to this BYU men's basketball team? That coming up next with JT for 3. This is Cougar Sports 103.9, 98.3, ESPN The Fan. Cougar Nation, if you've been injured, if you've been in an accident, you need to call the Advocates. Their number is 801-355-5550. That's 801-355-5550. Or you can go to UtahAdvocates.com because you deserve an advocate.
The madness of March is right around the corner, and the Cougars are in the middle of it. It's time to talk some college.
Kalani Reed at the beginning.
Cougar Sports with Ben Criddle.
Okay, Ben, here we go. Mike's hot.
Welcome back, Cougar Sports, 103.9, 98.3, ESPN The Fan. I'm Ben Criddle, broadcasting from our Vanderwell studios, vanderwell.com. Get on that free Q&A. No obligation to invest Q&A with our Tax Smart Wealth Advisors, certified financial planners. Nobody does it better than Blaine Anderson and his crew. We appreciate all you Cougar fans in Cougar Country tuning in to the radio show on 98.3 FM, 103.9 FM, 960 AM, and also checking us out on the stream via X and or YouTube. Subscribe to all of our platforms at Coug Sports Media, and check out all of our content at CougarSportsMedia.com. That's CougarSportsMedia.com. We're going to get into a little college basketball, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, so stay tuned. Jackson Kohler, he's a part of the BYU family, right? And he's been with Sparty for the last 4 years, but we've brought him home. Bring him home. I said it. I've sung it. And I can't wait to get to know Jackson Kohler through the eyes of the voice of Jonathan Tabanari here momentarily. But wanted to remind you guys that Camp Kalani is still underway. We're getting into the final week of camp coverage, and you can always keep it locked and loaded here on your Utah ESPN radio network. And the best coverage, obviously, of Cougs fall camp. Keep it tuned in to me and Bryson Bianucci in the mornings, and then Cougar Sports with Ben Criddle in the afternoons and evenings. You can visit ESPNthefan.com. Camp Kalani is brought to you by TrueBlueCougar.com. That's TrueBlueCougar.com. Stay true, bleed blue on 103.9, 98.3 ESPN The Fan. Let's get out to the hotline. Welcome in the Brazilian bomber, the bucket getter himself, Jonathan Tavernari, former BYU great. What's up, JT?
It is a beautiful, slowly, grainy, drainy, dreary Monday afternoon, which I absolutely love. São Paulo weather. I love this weather, so can't wait for fall to get here.
I love the moisture as well. It cools things down a little bit too, and my grass is actually starting to green up a little bit because we've gotten at least a little bit of moisture, and I threw down some like fertilizer as well because it was starting to die. It was starting to just dry out on me. But BYU basketball and BYU football ain't drying out right now. BYU basketball just picked up a beautiful acquisition via the portal. Jackson Kohler is coming to Brigham. Your thoughts, your reactions on the news?
Amazing. You know, I am a firm believer that top LDS talent, they belong at BYU. I think, their faith and their beliefs go hand in hand with university. It is the premier institution for our faith. And so to me, top LDS talent, just like Dean Ruckert, just like Colin Chandler, just like Dallin Hall. Shout out to Dallin for going to Utah State, but you should have never left in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
Richie Saunders and, Jimmer Fredette, Jackson Emery, Travis Hansen, Lee Camard, Chris Miles, Trent Blasted, and one Jonathan Tavernari. And so, to me, top LDS talent belong to BYU. And, I've been a fan of Jackson's for a very long time. I think he's an incredible player. I'm glad and I am so thrilled that he's going to be in Provo and playing for BYU this season. And then, like we talked about last week, this moves up BYU to the second weekend.
Yeah. So they're at least, if everyone stays healthy, around a 32 team, right? That's who they are. That's what they stand for this year. At least, at worst, right around a 32 team.
I agree. I think at this point in time, not making to the second weekend, it will be a disappointment for this team. And I think, to your point, Ben, let's call a spade as long as they stay healthy. And to me, that's the key right there.
No doubt about it. They still have, I think, one roster spot available. Is Richie coming back? Is that the final? Is that the cherry on top for this team? How much do you think you'd have to pay to get Richie back? What does that price tag look like? And would he be healthy enough? Would he be healthy enough?
It is, or it is Ortho Pros of Utah level of price tag, my friend.
Well, I don't know about that.
Papa Criddle and Ben Criddle would have to sell Dental Pros.
Yeah, we have to sell both the entities combined. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and so that's the type of price tag that we're talking about now. Everybody's saying maybe they think it's too much, and they think it's but I don't know, man. And people are like, no, he's staying with the Grizzlies. I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait and see. I thought that we had a chance to get Dallin, but I think Utah State makes a little bit more sense. And but Richie, here's the problem with Richie. Who you play him over? You know what I mean? Because you have Colin Chandler, Bruce Branch, you have Dean Rickard, there's no more red shirting. And so it's, I don't know who they play over.
I'm just joking. I don't think that's going to happen, but they do have one roster spot available. I don't know if they fill it.
Never say never, my friend. Never say never.
Well, you're beginning to think it's like, even though with AJ being on the team last year, you just acquired Jackson Kohler, that you had to pay a pretty price for that. Maybe not the top bidder, but you had to pay a pretty price for that. You have one more roster spot. I don't know what you need as far as key elements to your roster in order to make it into a championship team, but aren't you running a little bit thin in the bank account? Or are there more donors out there that just want to start throwing more money at this team in 2026, 2027?
To me, and I've said this a few times, and you and I went back and forth on this philosophical thing. To me, you go and you bring in Richie back some way, somehow, and then you go back and say, Kalani, just so you know, we are also adding this much money for your NIL next year. And, because, again, you do it because football is the driver and they run the ship, and it has to happen. And so, but I agree with you. You go back and you get Jackson Kohler, you load it up. And to me, it's one of those things. It's to me one of those things that you just get it done and you deal with it later.
Just get it done, deal with it later, raise the money afterwards. Overpromise, and hopefully over-deliver, or at least deliver on the promise.
Well, Ben, I don't think it's a delivering problem. I think with everything what's going on right now, it's a communication problem. That's what I think it is. And communicating, Ben, in business, you know this more than I do because you are a small business owner.
Yeah.
It is a communication issue, and if you have clear communication, I think you get all set.
No doubt about it. Jonathan Tavenari here on Utah ESPN Radio Network, Little College Basketball, Cougar Sports. So BYU acquires Jackson Kohler. What are the deficits? What are the weaknesses still on this roster, if you could point out any? The only one I can see is Vokatitis. You don't have a Vokatitis. You don't have a 7-foot European with like a 7'2", 7'3" wingspan. The only thing that can make this team better, if you would have picked up maybe Luigi Swigo, that would have been nice. Our favorite international prospect of this transfer portal season. But I don't know, what weaknesses are there, if any?
Do we have a proven three-point shooter? I don't know yet, right? Maybe you could say Tyler Backseat, right? But to me, do we have a guaranteed sniper? I don't know. Do we have a solid backup point guard until Nate Pickens, subs in for Robert Wright? I don't know. To me, I think you're spot on, though, right? I think the number one glaring thing is we don't have a 7-footer. And so I agree with that. And, but nonetheless, Ben, I am excited for this team. I do think this is the deepest Kevin Young team he's ever had.
Yeah, there's a lot of good depth. There's no doubt. And tenure depth, high-level experience depth that I really like about it. There's no doubt about that. So I think that is one of the best elements of this team. And on paper, it does look like everyone can shoot the three ball, right? Everyone's a proven, and by proven, I mean like they can shoot, 32%, 33% from the three-point line. They have nowhere to go but up from their percentages of the past.
And to be fair, if we think not historically, but if we think back in the Kevin Young era, we would go, wow, that team with Trevin Nell, that was a bunch of snipers. And I think that team hovered at about 38, 39% from three. And so I think if BYU this year, Ben, looking at, I think if they shoot 38% from three in every game, I think they win every game. And if they don't, it's because the other team shot the lights out. I also think that if this team makes I think if they make 11 threes in a game, they would never, well, let me be a little bit more spicy than that. I think if they make 10 threes every game, I think they lose. They don't lose a game. And so, to me, 38% and 10 threes are going to be the benchmark if they win or lose a game.
Man, I would love to see it. That 3YU team in 2020 was like a 42, 43% three-point shooting team. So you're up to – and that was an insane year. I just don't think that can be replicated again, especially considering the strength of schedule that BYU has before itself on that docket. But, yeah, I would love to see 38%. It would be glorious. It would be beautiful. It'd be fantastic. Cohesion and chemistry, though, with so many new faces, how difficult is it to get everybody up to speed and playing at a high level together?
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I think that's the least difficult part of basketball. And so I think having young – I agree. I honestly do. I think the hardest part of basketball, Ben, is to get people to buy into your defensive schemes and your offensive what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't think gelling with your teammates, I don't think that's difficult. I think building culture is difficult, but that's not what Kevin Young is trying to do. He already built the culture. And so I think building cohesiveness is not that difficult. I've been a part of locker rooms that, we were able to build cohesiveness in 2-3 days. I've also been part of teams where the coach didn't care about that and it never built because he's like, I'm paying you guys enough and you guys should all figure this out. And so I think Kevin Young is doing it the right way. And, to me, it's going to be one of those things that I'm excited to see what this team does. I'm excited to see what this team does and how they do it. I think it's exciting to have Jackson Kohler here, Colin Chandler here, Dean Ruckert, Brody Kozlowski. I'm excited, man. We're not even talking about, Bruce Branch. We're not even talking about Jacob, the Lithuanian kid. I mean, there's a lot of hype about this team, and I'm really, really, really excited.
Going back to an interesting conversation, someone texted me earlier in the show, and he declared, he's like, let me just pull it up real quick. So and I quote, how in the heck is BYU doing this with all the issues going around about money and allocation of money within and without the program? How are they getting Jackson Kohler and how much did they pay for him? I'm like, that's a valid question. Look, donors, they subsidize the donors are the payroll, right? Those are the individuals that are saying, okay, I'm willing and ready to bestow a nice hefty sum on the head of Jackson Kohler if you can get him to commit to BYU, right? So, but that's what he asked me. So I guess it begs the question: how much, once again, do you think Jackson Kohler obtained in this contract? Do you think?
Ben, I don't want to speculate wrong. I would be shocked if it's less than 1.5.
Sure. Yeah.
I just want to put it this way. I don't want to speculate on what it is. I would be shocked if Jackson Kohler is getting less than 1.5 this year. I would be extremely shocked.
Yeah. I mean, the bigs that were on the free market early on in the portal season, right? They were getting upwards of $4 million. Now, I don't know if it's that right now, right? I don't think it is that because there are limited roster spots. There's limited playing time. You have to have when you're a fifth-year guy, you're not just going to a place just for the money. And that gave probably BYU some leverage because you're coming to BYU for playing time and you're coming home. So you could be lower. So I think you're right. I think, between 1.5, at most maybe 3 million, if that. And we're speculating here. So no one come at me and get angry with me, but that's what he's worth. You know, actually, he's probably worth, if he would have been in the portal with eligibility, he would have been worth $4 million earlier on. So to get him at 1.5 to 3 million, that's huge. And guess what? It's the donors that are saying, KY will raise the money for you. If you can, as the Field of Dreams says, if you build it, they will come. If you get them committed, the money will come because the donors they wanted Jackson. They want the LDS talent. Well, that's what the donors wanted this go around, JT. You talked about culture. What didn't BYU have last year? They had plenty of talent. They didn't have the cohesive culture top to bottom, inside and out, within their program last year. And I think you could see it in effort. I think you could see it in execution. There wasn't complete buy-in, even though there was tremendous talent. This year, you got a lot of BYU guys.
I don't know, Ben.
I'm
going to disagree with you.
I'm telling you.
Disagree with you, brother.
I did not see it. I did not see buy-in top to bottom in that regard. I think once you lost Richie especially, it was kind of unraveling quickly, not in the cultural aspect. And that's why I think they went so hard at going after Colin Chandler and Jake Wallin, and they went out and got Jackson Kohler. They want to be able to ask more of their players and not have any sort of backbiting, subterfuge, or lack of buy-in, etc. Because I think that's an issue. I think it's always an issue unless you have your guys in the locker room, not just talent, your guys, your type of guys.
I don't know, Ben. I just think last year's team just wasn't very good. I think they were top three. I think they were top 3, top 4 heavy, and everybody else was just not very good. I mean, Tyler Moore was supposed to be a shooter, man, and he shot 29% from 3, 25% from 3, 17% from 3. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I don't think that the issue was cohesiveness. I think that their big 3 was so good, so expensive, so incredible that, the bottom piece is just, the supporting cast, if you will, right? It just wasn't very good. And so to me, that was the problem, Ben, more than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, look, you go through it. Tyler Morus was relied upon. Mihailo was relied upon. Alexei Kosik was relied upon. Hadim Boop's great defender and a good rebounder, but, an undersized big. Keba was dinged up. Richie got injured. Dawson Baker got injured. Brody Kozlowski was injured. Dominique Diamande, talented, but just wasn't maybe completely and utterly, integrated into the scheme and bought in. Maybe Kennard Davis Jr. kind of was lackluster at times. Xavier Staten was injured. There was a lot of injuries too. So JT, we're up against it, but I do appreciate the commentary. I do appreciate the perspective. Jackson Kohler acquisition is marvelous. It is great. This makes this BYU basketball team, I think, in the market to become another Sweet 16 team. I think they have that potential. They can make a run.
And I agree with you. I think it is on point and it is on track as long as they stay healthy, which is a big thing from last year, right? And so I do think it's one of those things that if they stay healthy, this is the Sweet 16 team.
Let's go. JT, always appreciate you. Love you. And thanks for hopping on today.
Always and forever, go Cougs.
Boom, shakalaka. The Brazilian bomber, Jonathan Tabanari. That segment was brought to you by Call to Sweat, calltosweat.com. Guys, if you got a missionary within the walls of your home or they're going out on a mission, you've been called to sweat as well. What does Call to Sweat do? Well, all you got to do is sign up and get to know what Call to Sweat can do for you. They send workouts to your missionary so you can stay healthy and strong throughout the entirety of your mission.
Seconds, Ben.
And so I'd advise you to check out calltosweat.com. Utilize the Criddle15 coupon code to get 15% off your subscription. We'll go to break. Don't go anywhere. More to get to on a beautiful Monday edition of Cougar Sports, 103.9, 98.3, ESPN The Fan. All right, we good? All right, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in today on the live stream. We're going all audio for the last hour. We got John Beck and Brady Papinga, so you have to tune into the 103.9 FM dial or 98.3 FM dial, or the ESPN The Fan, the app, or the TuneIn app to check out the Brady Papinga and John Beck interviews. But we're going to continue to do these live streams, and we're going to be integrating it with our radio show. So, and we'll be interacting with you. I want to be able to address all the questions throughout the show. I did see on the YouTube side of things that my guy, A. Meyer 67, I don't know if he's still tuned in on the YouTube stream, but he has he states special teams is a big unknown. I'm in accord with you, although I do like Matthias Dunn as a place kicker. He hasn't not gone through the refining fire of having all eyes on you, 60,000 fans strong and millions of viewers. You got to be able to do it in front of so many people and have just the ability to block out the noise as a special teamer. That includes your punter, full of shirts, who is very talented, and you have a long snapper. Can he do what is necessary to be accurate under the pressure? So who's your punt returner? Who's your kickoff returner? You lose some really good football players there. So still to be determined. That is still a question mark for me. There's plenty of talent there, but it's just not proven yet. So we may not know until Noah Fafita and U of A come to town, and Coach Brent Brennan. So shout out to A. Meyer 67. I do believe that there is still a question mark there. And yes, Isaac Charlin 6451. We are on YouTube now, so make sure you subscribe and to be a part of our community. I want to be able to interact with you guys and give you content you can't get anywhere else. Also, Big Cougar Roar to Thomas Fale, a Tongan BYU fan here. He states, I'm watching live from Auckland, New Zealand. Go BYU Cougs. And he also says, I'm wishing Kalani the best for the season, as are we. And BYU needs to keep Shiitake. You're not going to get someone that is going to unapologetically be proud to represent the LDS faith and win football games. And that, we totally agree upon. I am arm in arm with you there, Thomas. I agree with you. Nobody's better than Kalani at repping the Y, repping BYU, repping BYU football. And, of course, as an extension of that, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So we're all happy that you're a part of our community here. And then he also mentioned no particular concerns for me. This was Thomas Fale. No particular concerns for me about the depth of this football roster. The only concern I have is if BYU admin will live up to their end of the deal. There is a very good chance Shiitake leaves he states. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I will say that you do need to address certain elements of discord or disagreement, or if it's contractual or if it's verbal. I always say you got to be honest in your dealings, and if you've created an expectation that you're going to fulfill on something, you better do it, especially at BYU. Now, we don't have all the details of the discord. You just heard from Kalani stating, hey, we still need more resources. We saw that in December. Resources were promised. Has that been ultimately effectuated? Kalani has stated in front of media officially that he's going to refer to his agent in order to address any of those shortfalls in resource allocation, and that would lead you to believe if he is complaining about that, or if he is alluding to a shortfall of funds that were promised, that it would be contractual if he's talking about his agent. We'll see what happens. I think cooler heads will prevail in it all, and I do think that BYU, there's not a better time to be a part of BYU athletics and BYU football than present day. And those individuals that have been leading the way up to this point, they deserve credit as well. And that includes Brian Santiago, that's been a part of BYU athletics for a very long time. I always say, B-Son, no one works harder than him. No one hustles more. No one cares more about BYU athletics than him. And I do think that he has been the right-hand man of Tom for a long time. And so you got to give him some credit there. And I hope that he can find a way to make amends if he has breached, if he has ultimately undermined the trust of Kalani. which only they can talk about that. Up to this point, we haven't had anything official come out from Bisont or Kalani regarding their relationship outside of just Kalani stating that I get along with everybody. I get along with everybody. You be nice to me, I be nice to you type of deal. So you just don't want to undermine that trust of Kalani. And it takes a lot. Like, people don't realize, like, for Kalani not to trust you and love you and appreciate you, it would take a lot to undermine that trust. So make amends if they need to be amends ultimately made, and get her done. Guys, that's our show. And like I said, if you want to tune into the John Beck, Brady Papinga interview, you can flip the script over to 103.9 FM. You can download the ESPN The Fan app. You can also get us, I always forget this, but CougarSportsMedia.com, our new website. All of our content is there, and you're going to love it. We're going to continue to expand upon it. I think you're going to really enjoy it, and I want you to access my network of former players and insiders and media members and give you content and insight you can't get anywhere else. So we salute you. We appreciate it. We got some more comments, I think, coming in even from Thomas. Shout out to Thomas integrating immediately into our YouTube stream. My guy, Bone Tats Official, he says, listen on the app every day. Fun to see you guys in studio. Been wishing for this option for a while. Go Cougs. Hey, man, shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in. Everyone that I interact with regarding the show, and they say, hey, I listened to the show. I'm like, hey, tell us how we can be better. Tell us how we can improve. What do you like about the show, and what do we need to improve upon? So we're always open for constructive criticism, and we want to give you great conversations, great content, and we'll try to limit the controversy to a minimum, but we do have to delve into some sensitive topics at times. So we appreciate you guys giving us that feedback. Shout out to Thomas Fale once again. He says, thank you, Ben, for your commentary. Malo, thank you from New Zealand. And he says, yes, I agree. Cooler heads will prevail. Go Cougs. Look, you have to figure out how to get to the table and break bread and make synergies, create cohesiveness. We're all part of Cougar Nation. Whether you're an alumni, you're a fan, you're a former player, you're an administrator, you're a coach, you're part of the Cougar family. So find a way to set aside any differences and move forward, because you want to win. You want to win, and you want to do it the right way. And so figure it out and put forth the effort to bury any hatchets and bury any sort of ill will, and figure out how to trust again. If hopefully you can gain that trust. If you can't, then it becomes very difficult, and then that becomes an administrative role to create buffers and barriers between individuals that can no longer trust each other. So that's what I would say about that, and that would ultimately be, Shane Reese and Keith Forking navigating those waters and making those decisions. So I wish them well. Pray for those that have to make very difficult decisions at times, very strategic decisions as well. But make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms at Coug Sports Media. That's at Coug Sports Media. Check out our website, CougarSportsMedia.com. As I mentioned, get over to the ESPN The Fan app or ESPNTheFan.com or CougarSportsMedia.com to listen to the rest of our content. John Beck and Brady Papinga. We'll see you mañana, 2 to 6 p.m. here on your Cougar Sports Media stream. Thanks so much, Cougar Nation.